Hi, friends.
And welcome to the revolutionary new way to lose weight. That's right, here at Organolife, we've got these vitamins that are guaranteed to take 10, 20, even 50 pounds off in just 1 week, provided you also do a lot of dieting and exercising.
Mm-hmm.
A shit ton.
Shit ton. But
the pills
don't
are
worry
the
about
key
that.
thing. The pills are the key
The
thing.
pills are the key thing. They're all natural, organic,
Guaranteed
and
to cause
gluten-free.
and guaranteed to cause Gestaltzerfall phenomenon. Are you suffering from Gestaltzerfall phenomenon or semantic satiation? If so, you're not alone.
You're not.
We here at the Gestaltzerfall phenomenon and semantic satiation relief society want to offer our condolences to you for your experiences. That's how we relieve you of your suffering. They might make you more muscular if you work out a lot.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, you gotta work out a lot, but
Right. But don't really worry about that, right? We don't worry about that.
these pills are the stone soup of pills. Do you remember Stone Soup, the book, the childhood book?
I do.
In the book Stone Soup, there's this guy who's got a pot of water boiling with a rock in it. And someone comes by and he's like, "What are you making?" He's like, "Stone soup." It's pretty good. You can share some with me. Of course, it'd be better if it had a little bit of onions in it too. And then someone comes back and brings some onions. They put them in the water, and there you go. Someone else comes there. That smells good. What are you making? Stone soup. Really good the way it is, but it'd be even better if it had a little bit of tomatoes in it. And somebody brings some tomatoes, and pretty soon he's got a whole soup going. Well, I don't remember what I was comparing that to.
Well, I want to say that reminds me, of how an ENTP would run a business.
Yeah. It's all licenses all the time of soup making.
Yeah. But I really do think that, ENTPs could be really good, managers, because they'd be, they'd be like, it'd be great? This. You do this thing really good. Why don't you do that? And, you make them think that it's their, idea, but it's really just you knowing their natural talents and where they lie best.
See, that's an INFJ's vision of what they would do if they were an ENTP. Okay? That's what I would call that thing right there.
Yeah.
An INFJ's vision of what they would do if they were
I'm sorry.
an ENTP. So,
see, this is why I would be a good first lady.
And you want to know how great my mom was, Winston's mom? There was also a book from my childhood called How to Eat Fried Worms. My mom made me a fried worm sandwich.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Because you love the book so much?
Because I wanted to see what it would taste like or be like, because it said, how to eat fried worm. So, well, you want to eat it? We'll make you one.
Wow. That's love. And
I took one bite of it. I don't even think I tasted any worm, and I went and spit it out because I was so grossed out. That was the concept of it.
She is still the best. I love your mom. I feel glad to have met her and some. I know, but
it's so crazy. This is FI Polar. I'm constantly forgetting she's alive.
Wow, that is FI Polar. Wow. I mean, I forget sometimes.
Somebody pissed me off. Dave Sanderson. That's what happened in the Discord. I got invited to go in there in a sort of innocent kind of a way, but really was a bit of an ambush in which somebody opened with Shakira Urbano.
Oh, Shakira. Bano.
Running right on timeout. Right into timeout. So
You went into Discord for a friendly chat, right?
or not really anticipate anything. And the person
Anything.
opens up with, so you frequently contradict yourself, Eric. And then when I tried to get him to give me an example of me contradicting myself, he talked to me about my claim about being the beginning and end of cognitive functions and how that was false. Well, I mean, that's not an example of me contradicting myself, even if it's ridiculous or wrong of me to say that. It certainly isn't a contradiction. This is one of those people who, like that other guy at that time, who just wanted to talk to me about my sort of emotional presentation. Well, I got out of there pretty damn quick, and I realized I want nothing to do with that fucking cesspool.
That's all they care about is your emotional thing, and they judge you on it.
Right, and then they try to present my anger as being an indication that I can't handle when people disagree with me.
Right.
Which, of course, is bullshit.
It is such bullshit. You're allowed to get whatever you want, or whatever you feel. That's it. That's how feelings work, and you're entitled to your feelings.
I mean, most importantly, it's like I don't want to deal with disingenuous people who are being fundamentally dishonest. If you want to argue with me about my positions on things, then you start by saying, Eric, you said this, and this is what I'm conflicting it. Not, Eric, you are someone who frequently contradicts themselves.
Oh gosh, that's a way to start a conversation.
The problem is, of course, it's not substantiatable. It's not a real critique. It's not a critique of any of my ideas, you know? I know you're not trying to facilitate drama or conflict there, Sanderson. I don't think you're ill-intentioned. I'm just telling you that I've experienced this before with the TWFP rooms. What tends to happen in TWFP public spaces is my haters gather there to bash me and sell people on the notion that I don't know what I'm talking about. And then I get a series of people come in to the live streams and say, you know, these people are all talking all kinds of shit about you in your Discord server, don't you? This is how this shit goes down. You know?
Hey, Rathor Vicky.
Yeah, people like to rile me up because it gives them control over me, right?
It's not right.
And the thing is, you might say, well, Eric, you need to do a better job of being not triggerable. But the thing is, I am doing a better job of being not triggerable by not going places where those fuckers trigger me.
Same. Because, like, I had the same experience. Like, as soon as I started getting, like having to, feeling like I had to explain myself and, like, not be passionate at all, I was like, this is not right. Like, I don't feel right here. Like, bye.
Okay, well, here's the thing, Dave Sampson. I don't care. I'm not here to be judged about how I dealt with that situation. I'm here to issue my judgment. Fuck Discord. So you can believe whoever you want. I don't care. I don't care what the reality of that situation was. It doesn't matter to me. I didn't like it. And I've experienced before this tendency of my haters to gather at any public space that's got TWFP name on it, you know? So that's just how it is.
We got some really good Jack today. Jack Herrera.
Yeah. Christoph Canciars. Can I describe my channel in a few sentences? A whole lot of Eric. How's that? A shit ton of Eric.
Mm-hmm.
More Eric than anybody could possibly ever want.
Actually, can I say that when
It smells so good.
It does.
It smells like
it really
Jack.
is so great. I'm very happy. Anyway, that while we were apart, all your videos were really fucking comforting. Like, I was so grateful that you were such like a camera whore. Like, really, like, I was so happy that you put yourself out there all the time because even though we were at a distance, I was still like getting my host Eric in, you know?
Oh, you mean, KD, are you assuming that person wanted an actual answer to their question? The thing is, this channel is a lot about Jungian typology, but this is not and has never been a typology channel, despite the fact that it's become that, right? I don't view myself as a typology channel.
Leaf trimmer, what is your icon? I'm just curious. I can't tell what it is. Is it a hand and a horse?
It looks like a slug covering its eyes. So, David Sanderson, what are you saying no to? You say no.
Hi, Sarah. I was a pee. See, these coughs are like not like going on.
Punch Anna Kasparian. I don't know who Anna Kasparian is, or why we would want to punch her.
Yeah. What's up, Time Man 66?
If you want to know the feeling of love in your lungs, it's time to make love to a man named Jack Herrera. He may be dead, but he lives on in this strain of weed. The best sativa ever you could get. Jack Herrera. It's my ode to Jack Herrera.
Ode to Jack Herrera.
He was a bit of a weed hero, you know. He wrote a lot of books about how to grow weed and so forth. And this is the only really good strain of sativa. So this is what I'm talking about, David Sanderson. That's not true. The actual conversation went like this. Eric, you frequently contradict yourself. Okay, give me an example. Well, you said you're the beginning and end of cognitive functions. That's not anything about my system at all, right? And then from that point forward is, why are you getting angry, Eric? So that's what happened. But most importantly, the takeaway from this is take everything Talking with Famous People themed away from that server, because that's exactly what happens. I get defamed and people lie about me. That's exactly what happens. That's not what happened at all. When have I ever been unwilling to be questioned about my system? I'm totally willing to be questioned about it. You have to actually question me about my system. You can't question me about my claims about like my role in cognitive functions as a person, or you can't question my attitude or, okay, why are you getting so upset, Eric? Actually address things I say. If somebody brings me in to purportedly address things I say and then attacks my person, then fuck them and fuck that cesspool. Not only that, but just as I've indicated, the story they're telling after the fact, this lie determined to defame me, has in fact successfully caused you to wonder what happened. You know, even though it was clear cut. You could watch it yourself.
I suggest you do.
You could watch it because I was live streaming when I did it.
What did they say about me?
I don't think it said anything about you.
Oh.
I don't think so. Not that I remember. But the point is, Dave Sampson, I don't want anything. Take all TWFE branding and name away from the Discord server. Get rid of it. I don't want it. Because this is what happens.
It's a cesspool in there. It really is.
I mean, if they really want to question me on my system, ask a question about it. Right? That's not, Eric, you frequently contradict yourself. That's factually false. And it's not about anything I'm saying that's meaningful, right? Even if I did frequently contradict myself, it wouldn't negate anything I say about my system.
Yeah.
You have to actually point to those contradictions to negate, you know?
with fire than I am.
Good.
Did you like change it like all the way from like TWFP? Like it's totally
Well,
a different
unrelated
channel.
now, yeah.
Unrelated.
Because this is the second time this has happened. When I try to support a space for the community, it becomes taken over by people who hate me, spite monkeys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just does. They gather there because they can't stand the fact that I'm making claims about my significance in terms of figuring out cognitive functions. Not because they disagree with any of the claims I'm making, but because I'm making the claim that I'm exclusively right. That's what makes them so angry. No, there's 4 and 4, Aaron. There's 4 and 4. I never said there's 5 and 3. The 4 metaphysical functions are Ni, Ne, Ti, and Fe, and the 4 physical functions are Fi, Te, Si, and Se.
I don't feel shame.
No, you don't. You feel the sham.
Oh, the sham.
Yeah, I've never said 5-3. I don't know where you got that idea.
How are the ferrets doing, Winston's mom? Did they have a good Christmas? Did you have a good Christmas? Or at least the one where you ate and be merry? Didn't seem like many people did. But I hope you did. Because I like to look on the bright side.
And so the thing is, what puts me in a bad mood is when I'm spending time getting back to zero, right? And that's what I'm doing with this David Sanderson argument point here. Is I'm spending time getting back to zero. These spite monkeys dragged me down into the mud, got me angry, and then told lies about what happened. That's the reality of the thing.
Well, I am TE polar, so like order of operations with fire things you should like people should know, and sometimes I'm clumsy with it, can't lie. Like I changed my my fingerprint on this finger with fire by accident. Now it is a different print. Hey Sky, you're the Gallant ESFP. Do you find ESFPs to be gallant? Yeah. I think I do. It's like pretend gallant.
I don't know. I'm in a bad mood now. Having confirmed what I already knew to be the case, that those fuckers not only, pull that bullshit, but then position it as the exact opposite of what it is infuriating. Obviously, it's like why I don't want anything to do with that fucking place, full of liars and shame monkeys.
You had a Mandela, I don't know.
Mandela effect?
Mandela. Yeah, you should draw them. I used to draw them in art therapy, and ISFP showed me how. They're fun. And if you have one in your dream, it's a good way of getting it out.
Oh, well, Sarah, ISFP, I generally get out my FI by talking it out like this. So that's what I'm doing right now, I guess. It pisses me off, It's like,
this pisses me off too, to be real.
You bait me in there to have a non-real exchange with me and then frame it how you want to frame it. If you want to have a real exchange with me, have a real exchange with me. Say, okay, Eric, Eric doesn't like to have his ideas criticized or something. And come in here and actually criticize my ideas. We'll do speeches. You have a 4-minute speech, I'll have a 4-minute speech. We'll do question and answer periods. Let's do it real. Of course, they don't want anything to do with that. They want any fucking thing to do with that at all.
You're welcome, Mrs. Mom, of course. Yeah, art. I think art supplies are some of the funnest supplies. But actually, I'm sure that power tools are pretty fun supplies.
I consider power tools art supplies.
Cool. They are.
Yeah, that's true. Raphael, thank you for bringing it back to the topic. So I was watching this anime show the other day called, I'll tell you what it's called right now.
You've been watching so many, I've been forgetting some of the names.
Well, yeah, I've got my queue is really getting fat here. It's called
Fire Force.
Regarding Zero Starting Life in Another World.
Oh.
No, it was this one. So Regarding Zero Starting Life in Another World is the name of the anime. And it's a fairly like childish premise, which is the guy gets sort of transported to this fantasy world, and it's like a game that when he dies, he wakes back up at the save point. Okay,
that's what you're saying, yes.
But the thing about it is, he's trying to learn how to read and write the local language, and he's practicing writing these characters. They're like Japanese characters, okay? And he's been writing the same one over and over again, and he says, "Sheesh, I feel like a Gestaltzerfall phenomenon is about to happen to me." And I paused the video and said, "What? What did he just say? Oh gosh, I feel as though a Gestaltzerfall phenomenon is about to happen to me. What in the world?" You know, obviously, if you're watching anime and part of the dialogue says that, well, you go, okay, what the hell are they talking about?
Yeah.
So the interesting thing is, I'd never heard of it before, but Gestaltzerfall phenomenon means when you look at something that has meaning as a symbol, such as a Japanese character or a Chinese character, you know, maybe it looks kind of like a little house with a couple of arms on it or something, and it means family farm or something, you know. Yeah. That if you your channel should be awarded always off topic. You should talk on typology for which most people subscribe to you. Thank you for your opinion.
I think it should be rewarded too.
Thank you for your opinion.
I think it should be rewarded for the most consistency. You've been there. You've been on YouTube for a really long time.
Yeah. So shape decomposition is a type of agnosia, and thank you for putting that in there. Yeah, that's what I was going to read here. When a complex shape is stared at for a while, the shape seems to decompose into its constituted parts. So basically, it means like when you're looking at a symbol, a pictograph that means a word, and you look at it and it ceases to lose meaning. It's the reason that it's not natively familiar to me is because we use letters instead of pictographs in our language. So we don't have that many symbols that represent something iconically, really, that you can stare at for a long time and have them break down as they do in languages that use in characters instead of letters. But we do have the equivalent thing in the auditory spectrum, because I recognized the nature of the phenomenon, but applied to me when I say a same word over and over again, and it seems to lose all of its meaning. You go, is that even the word anymore?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, that I looked it up, and it's called semantic satiation. Semantic satiation is a psychological phenomenon in which repetition causes the word or phrase to temporarily lose meaning for the listener, who then perceives the speech as repeated meaningless sounds. So my basic, where I'm going with this, the Gestaltzerfall one, you don't get it because it seems to be something that's fairly unique to symbols that have complex meanings. Since we both use a language built of letters and alphabets instead of pictographs and stuff, we're less subject to encounter this Gestaltzerfall phenomenon because we deal less with that kind of symbol. But auditorily, we experience it with semantic satiation. So if I say semantic satiation, semantic satiation, semantic satiation enough times, eventually you'll start to be like, what are these sounds he's saying?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I would call that phenomenon the disillusion from NI back into SI in both occasions. So your NI understanding of the symbol as meaning of this Chinese character meaning family farm becomes dissolved into the SI sensation of knowledge of what the component parts look like to you. Similarly, with the auditory range, it's an NI dissolving into SI thing, where it ceases to lose its meaning and becomes just the experience of the sound is what you know instead. So I don't know. It was just an observation I thought, and something cool that I encountered in the world that I thought I'd share with everybody, and I thought I'd make it the title of this live stream.
It's a great live stream title.
The other possible live stream title for today is, although I decided against it because they deserve more positive regard from me than this, but a possible title for today's live stream was 7 years proving AA wrong and counting. Rachel, oddly enough, without knowing she was doing it, reminded me that today was my quit drinking birthday. It's been 7 years without any alcohol. And to be perfectly honest, I can't say without any alcohol because I do drink non-alcoholic beer, some of which has 0.05% alcohol content or less. But it's also the case that like orange juice has like that much alcohol in it too.
Oh.
So anyway, regardless, there's been no purposeful, willful consumption of alcohol by me. And there's been a continual willful avoidance of things that might have alcohol in them.
You don't like that pile of clothes, PNP?
Okay. Well, no, the point that they were making is to say that it's the beginning and end of I'm the beginning and end of cognitive functions is to claim that I can predict the future. And I said, no, I'm just saying I'm the beginning and end of cognitive functions right now, as of right now. I don't doubt that in the future things will develop further, but you're equivocating on the word end. They didn't respond to that at all. And then later on I said, regardless, even if they are right and I am wrong about that, me admitting that I'm wrong doesn't make it me contradicting myself. It would mean that I've jettisoned a position that I agree is hyperbolic and overstated. So I can be wrong without frequently contradicting myself. In fact, everybody who is caring about contradicting themselves acknowledges their periodic wrongness to eliminate it so that they don't sustain a state of contradiction. They ignored everything I said about that. Okay? And I pointed out that even if I do maintain and I do claim that basically right now I'm the beginning and end of understanding cognitive functions correctly, that my system in the current moment in history is the one that needs to be adopted by everybody. I make that claim. I do. But that doesn't mean that I'm making the claim that it will forever be that case. And that doesn't mean I'm either wrong or contradicting myself about it. I've made that same claim consistently over time, that I'm exclusively right about this. To the extent that people disagree with me, then they are wrong about this. I've made this claim consistently over time. So it's not an example of me contradicting myself, right? Now, I agree, though, after this conversation, that I probably should change my wording of that. That still doesn't make me somebody who frequently contradicts myself, nor is it an example of a contradiction. It's simply an example of me acknowledging that I was somewhat wrong to make that bold of a claim or that expansive of a claim. I should have made a less expansive claim. Again, though, note, it's about me and my ego. It's not about anything I'm saying about cognitive functions. It's my ego they don't like, right? So Anmal Manachoas points it out right here. Eric versus the whole world. Bring down your inflated ego to make your life happier. Now you can time out. No, I don't want to time you out at all, because you're exactly right. That's what people attack me for, my ego, not for what I'm saying. And that's frustrating, because what I'm saying is way more important than my ego. And I should adjust the way I say it for bigger impact, Tom Dixon. I agree with you. I'm working on it. I'm working on improving my FE, and it's coming along fairly slowly. But what's most significant is the people like Anmal Manachoa and the people who were attacking me the other night in the Discord server, they're not attacking anything I'm saying. They're attacking my claims about what I'm saying. That's removed a level, right? They say I don't want to have my they say I don't want to have my system challenged, but like I point out there, that's not challenging my system. And even if you agree with them that they demonstrated a contradiction, it's still off topic, right? It's still not addressing what I'm saying about cognitive functions at all. To establish, in fact, that my claim about myself and my role in cognitive functions is too grandiose, one would have to do the real work of negating my model, instead of just negating my claim for being too grandiose in and of itself, right? And I'd appreciate your response to all of this, David Sanderson. If you want to join me in a room, you can, and we can chat it out there too. But I'd like to have clarity or consensus about this phenomenon. It's pretty clear cut what it is, and what it's not. Here, I don't have a problem with David Sanderson. I'm not mad at David Sanderson. I'm upset to a certain extent because of what Dave Sanderson is revealing to me about the reality that I already knew to be true. But that's not, I don't blame David Sanderson for that. Yeah, I would rather have someone argue my logic, argue my justifications, argue my case, rather than attack me. Gestaltzerfall, you say you try to sum it up and see if, please tell me if you got it. I mean, it's what Winston's mom posted,
Mm-hmm.
So if you start look at a certain symbol with a certain meaning long enough, it will lose its abstracted meaning the way in which it's used or what is. Cliff equals falling off place. Yeah, basically. But it would be like specifically an image that represents something. Like, I guess you might say like the picture of the lady on the women's room who's got like a little triangle dress, that sort of universal woman's room symbol. Presumably, if you looked at that for long enough, and
oh my God, I've had that with the triangle lady dress.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been like, what does this sheep really mean? Why is it like that?
Right, it's what Oliver says here. That's why they come after your ego tone claims about your claims. To attack your claims on their own merits, you'd have to watch tons of videos or read your book, and that takes time. And yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So they just attack me. And I don't want to facilitate that. The thing is, it's a waste of my time, and it's not in my interests, and it makes me mad, It makes me mad because I'm trying to deal with people honestly, and they are not. And that's the bottom line of why it makes me mad. It fails the basic reciprocal burdens test. I afford them the courtesy that they don't afford me. I'll put a link to this, keeping in mind it's yeah, I can shift the focus of my eyes manually, of course. This is on the older side, keep in mind. So the thing is, I'm going to make a video later today, specifically for Evelyn, but everybody can watch it, obviously, that explains where I am right now with the mechanics and asks for specifically INTP, they are the best qualified to do this, help in helping me to figure out the rest of the thing.
Oh, INTP would be good.
Yeah, they're the best at what I need done right now. And Evelyn is one of the best examples of like a highly qualified INTP that I
Cool.
can think of. She's always been one of my most effective critiquers. You know, when Evelyn critiques something, I tend to make changes in what I think and believe and say, you know, that's when you know that you're critiquing correctly. You know, she waits until she has a good thing to critique about, and then she critiques it. She doesn't go digging around for something she can disagree with because that's what she thinks disputing me is. It's like she begins with the notion that she opposes me and then finds something to oppose.
Mm-hmm.
That's what these spite monkeys are doing. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can't find anything my INTP roommate is good at. Well, they're not good at very many things, but they are the only people who are good enough at the thing I need them to be good at right now to do the thing that needs to be done. So it's like, it's true they're not very good at very many things, but they are the best at what they're very good at. And they're better than me at what I'm attempting to do right now. That's the thing. INTPs are better than ENTPs at what I am doing with cognitive functions. It just happens to be that I'm an ENTP who got the gist of it done. I did the SE part of it. Now I just need them to come in with a little bit of demonstrative NI and some very stern TI. Their TI is more stern than mine, you know. And help me figure out what the permutation aspect of the whole thing is. Because there's these various components that operate in a certain way. And yada. The other thing is, I wonder if there's an application that lets you define your own rules to play cards. So it's an application that provides you with virtual decks of cards and then lets you define what all the rules are for the game and then play that game. That would be a good application. So anyway, why does the brain do Gestaltzerfall? Well, my point is because when you make yourself experience on the experiential real-time plane something that is meant to exist on the external metaphysical field as a turn-based object, then you compel your attention to shift to the real-time version of the same thing. In other words, shift from NI to SI. And that's what happens. You know, it's like, I don't know how to, Sky Gear. I'm bad at things.
What?
Sky Gear says, Eric, it's a card game. Just code the damn thing. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah,
that's hard.
That's what another person's supposed to be doing.
I can show you how to play it, and then I need somebody else to. I want there to be an app that lets you do what I say, you know? Instead of making me code each card game independently, it's just set up so that it has lots of, you say how many decks of cards you need, how many players there's going to be, and you define all the rules within the app, and then it makes that card game for you. Wouldn't that be better? A meta card game app? Well, I'm sure that would be harder, but it would be better. I'm saying, doesn't it exist already, so I don't have to code it? All right, maybe I'll look into it. Go ahead, Leaf Trimmer. Steal my idea, make $1 million. I am much happier seeing my ideas actually be realized, especially if I just get credit for them, for being the author of them, than seeing myself gain a lot of concrete outcomes from them. I do want credit, like for being the idea sourced from an idea by me in general. if somebody used one of my ideas, I suggested to many people, go with it. Take it, run with it, see what happens. I don't know. I have a lot of good ideas. I just sent my, I mean, I don't even have to get credit necessarily. I just sent my debater off with my Milk Lab idea to try to apply to these camps so that maybe he can actually make it. You know, maybe he'll make it successfully and make lots of money off of it. And then I'd just be like, hey, come on, kick me down some money. And I'm sure he would, you know, because I see people are cool.
I would like a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
Should this be my new?
You should crop it more.
Yeah, Instagram.
Yeah, maybe, but I think you should crop it more.
Okay.
If you want me to crop it here, I can.
Sure.
Okay, is it shared with me? Can you share it with my Google Photos?
I think it is. I will send it to you directly.
Let me look in my Google Photos. I think I can just sort of access your photos, actually.
Okay. I see a lot of girly stuff.
Yeah, I know. You like to share, save pictures you find of pretty flowers and stuff, and butterflies. Oh, it's so adorable.
Thank you.
You're so feminine.
Thank you.
You're as feminine as vaginas and breasts.
Aww.
And that's as feminine as you can get. There's nothing more feminine than vaginas and breasts. No, it's nothing more feminine than vaginas and breasts. If you want to talk about two feminine things, you can talk about vaginas, and then you can sing about breasts as well. Vaginas and breasts. Yeah.
I asked, this is a while ago, I asked Delilah if I could use her Lazy Daisy thing because I liked it.
Her Lazy Daisy thing?
Yeah, Inky Pinky.
Oh
my god, it's by RLC. It's so close to my name.
Well, that's good.
I like some of the like.
You like some of the
some
stuff?
Of the graffiti, yeah, I do. Odin's dog.
So you want it like that? You want OG?
Yeah.
Like that, maybe?
Yeah. Maybe the bottom a little bit more because it'll be in a circle.
Oh, I see. So it should be a square.
Yeah.
There, okay. It's pretty square. Wait, no, it's not. Let me see. 21. So it needs to be less wide. Or do you want the RL centered?
I like it centered, I think.
Okay.
Cool.
Auto white balance. And we'll auto color enhance. Maybe do a little meow.
Cool. We are so similar in so many ways. Looks great.
I'm just thinking, like, if we do like this, Oops. Invert this like so. And then
That's cool.
this.
Where were we when?
When you took this picture,
Yeah.
the 7-Eleven
Mhm. Where?
in Montebello.
My dog.
Right about like maybe that. Let's
Mhm.
see.
That looks so good.
Alright. Let's that. And we'll put here on the desktop. Put radical circles. Because I'm going to give you a few different options here. Change the hue.
Yeah, make it my own. That's pretty cool.
Try
Neon green.
V.
Cool. Ooh. That's cool too. Oh.
So you can choose whatever one of these ones you want.
Thanks. Thank you.
Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to upload this. I'm going to upload this to the Google Photos, and I'm going to share it with everybody so you guys can chime in on which one you think is best. Okay?
TinyMan66, Hollywood was pedophilia. It is no longer. I think people are gonna like step up who can actually like be genuine.
I would tend to agree with that. That after that nowadays that shit doesn't fly. You know.
Yeah.
I want to upload the whole folder. So let me go to Google Drive. Google Drive, Google Drive. It's Google Drive time for you and me.
Yeah.
Folder upload. Desktop. Rachel Circles. Upload. Yes, upload. And now, let me there it is. Now let me share, get link. Copy link. All right, so I'm going to put this in the live stream now. There are some choices. Rachel's going to pick a image to go in her circle that for, I think, Instagram.
Instagram, yeah.
Instagram. And if you look in this folder, you can see the images within the folder. And I would like, you see there A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. I would like people to chime in on which one they think is best. Now, 3 of them look kind of similar, I guess, but I guess A, C, and E look kind of similar, but of the 3,
I guess. Yeah, they do.
E of this is the best of A, C,
yes.
and E, I think.
E is the best of
A, C, and E.
Yeah.
But anyway, you guys make your own choice, and please put your vote here in the live stream.
I would love your input.
Please put your vote. We got an H. I'm going to paste the link again. We got an H as a vote.
Okay.
Let's see what other votes we have. If we have any other votes, please do look at this and vote for. If you, okay, KD, fine. Then don't.
Not have to.
You don't have to. Okay. This is called Effie live stream shit. All right. Hey friends, please do check out our folder full of pictures and offer your vote as to which one you think is best.
Yeah.
And Katie's like, no. Okay, fine, Katie. You don't have to. Jeez. We got 2 votes for H. 2 votes for H. We got an E and we got half vote for E, half vote for H. Mm-hmm. We got a vote for F. Okay.
Right now, H is in the lead with 2.5, right?
Yeah. 2.5 or 3.5 even?
I don't know.
Let me go back up here and see. I think there's Sean voted H. Fomal Hot voted H. So yeah, 2.5 H's and an F. H is terrible. F, says Tom Jacobson. You can't open the links. Can you vote once? Yeah, vote.
Yeah,
sure.
Please.
Please. Yeah. The
winning one will be featured as my circle on Instagram.
Yes, we know this, Sky Gear. Yes, we know that A, C, and E are basically the same, and E is the best
out of the 3.
Sorry, I missed that. Could you say it again, please?
Oh, Siri.
Here's the link. There's A through I, and we're voting on which one you think is best for Rachel's circle for Instagram.
Siri sometimes hangs out with me when
H, D, and F are oversaturated and unpleasant to look at, too jumpy. Well, that's INTP countervaluing NI, perhaps.
Okay, so which one do you like? You like I ham bone.
Sky Gear says G. Okay. It says G. I like G too.
I do too.
G's pretty good.
Yeah.
H may be a little hard to read at circle size.
H. Yeah, I think so too.
So,
H, because I want the RL to be featured because my name is Rachel Apolosa.
oh, is that why? I was wondering. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Obviously, oh my god.
I think that F's pretty cool.
I like E too.
I like E. I like G. I agree that H is not a good choice, given that it's going to be a circle.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be able to see it as big as you do, in this. Evelyn says G.
Okay.
G.
It's another one for
It's
G.
another vote for G. G's picking up some momentum here.
Is it okay if I leave my vote in the upload comment? Sure. We have another one for G.
Right. Note
E has better filter, yeah.
Note that if you own a museum, you should only let Raphael go into your museum for 9 minutes.
You could revote, Oliver. If you think that E is best,
You can revote.
yeah, you can revote.
Okay, so Oliver dislikes G, but says that H is also bad for a circle. Also agrees that H is bad for circles, but dislikes G and says, "How about E?"
I like E.
E's sort of is the natural way it looks, just yellowed a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
A is probably the most natural way that it looks.
Yeah.
Is what it actually looks like.
The E is just yellowed a little bit more. Exactly. But I like that it has a little bit of color to it.
Yeah.
Kind of rough. Like it looks like something that I would draw on my black and white notebooks.
Everyone's sleeping on I. Hambone, that's some good demonstrative NI there.
That is.
Everyone is sleeping on I.
They are.
Because, it does what it does in a clean, classy way, but it doesn't really have a lot of flash. It doesn't grab the eye.
It's monotone, yeah. It's pretty mono. It's got blue everywhere except for the outline.
It's like the premium version of G.
Premium G. Yeah, right, exactly.
I is the premium version of G.
Mm-hmm. It's the blue ink of the black ink of G. Yeah.
Okay,
let's see. Remember, this is going to be a lot of...
Yeah, it's the premium version of G. I agree. Fuck I, says KD. KD can't help but chime in, can you? Despite your determination not to. You say that Skyer calls I the cheap Chinese ripoff that tries to be the eye-catching version of G.
H is, you can't even see the RL, that's the thing. Like, I really want the RL to stand out. I mean, if H were to be the top. D is feminist menstrual art.
Let's see where the menstrual reference comes in for D. It's pretty red, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of Christmassy.
It is a little Christmassy. It's too much. It's just too much, I think. I really think probably E is going to end up seizing the day.
I like E.
I think you'll probably end up just using E. Huh?
Well, what do you like? Which one do you like?
I mean, after all this discussion, I'm leaning towards E or G.
Me too. All right, it's between E or G, guys.
And if I had to pick a dark horse, it would actually be A.
The OG?
Yeah. But A, E, or G. I think I like E better than A.
It's brighter.
E's a little brighter. Wait, but you know what? A is more textured looking, right? Like you can really see the texture kind of. This gets kind of mushed out here.
Oh, this is difficult. Wow, you really see it. All its like graffiti glory.
Now let's look at.
Real looks with that. Is that should I be careful of that sign?
What do you mean?
No, that's fine. That symbol, like under the real looks.
You mean the postal stuff?
That symbol.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Looks like just sort of a signature or something. If you're worried about whether it's gang stuff, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, I was like, it doesn't look like a swastika, right?
Oh no, it doesn't look like
Okay,
that.
okay,
It looks like an S with a line through it.
Okay.
Okay, E. I think E. Okay, let's go E.
Okay.
To choose whatever you choose, you'll be unhappy with until you settle on it. No, Raphael, G.
It will stand out.
No, G's
That
pretty
will
good.
stand out. It will stand out for sure. Because anything that's black and white. All right. I'm going to try it.
You're gonna go with Raphael's G. That's good. That's a very disinterested calculus. See, Raphael, we give your ideas just as much evaluation on merit as everybody else.
Edit profile, but hold on.
Do you need?
I do like E though too. I want to see how they look in the circles.
All right. So do I need to share this with you?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Share with Rachel.
See, it'll be that bubble. I just find that the color, like I like color. I always like a little color, but the R.
You know what I like? I like the fact that leaf blower or leaf trimmer. I really like the fact. Okay, I mean the point is,
He makes the R
if you're still, I understand you're wanting to determine it for yourself. My point is, this is my point. You really aren't sure about what happened there. You should be extremely sure because you've seen me deal with legitimate questioning plenty of times. But that's the difference between SI and NI, I guess. But please do watch it. I mean, they came and got me expressly at a moment when I was in a bad mood and just sort of there being like, I'm mad or whatever. And then did their shit, did their garbage. But yeah, you'll find it played out exactly like I just said it played out.
It's
Oh, leaf trimmer. I love the fact that you don't celebrate Christmas and you call it Saturnalia. Because it's not real Christian. It's fake Christian. Christmas. Totally fake Christian stuff. Real Christians don't celebrate that heathen, pagan blasphemy. I love the fact that you don't celebrate Christmas.
Where did you share it?
I shared it to your email.
Oh, my email. Okay, cool. The email.
I mean, if you should get a thing from
Got
your
it.
email saying, you've been invited to Meow. Federico likes G and F. We're just going to try G, I believe. And E.
Yeah. Raphael, just because you keep on saying G doesn't mean that it counts for more votes.
Yeah, repeating it over and over again isn't going to probably going to make a big difference. I do also want to share with everybody right now a video apparently that came out good, which is the one where we're riding with the headlights. Let's see, which one is it? Probably this one. Good.
Yeah, that was good. Oh.
Okay. Here you go. This is what Rachel and I did last night. I know how to use OBS. I just don't choose to use it a lot. Who tells you his intention was not to damage your integrity or character? I don't care what his intention was, whoever's intention, if you're talking to me. I'm not interested in their intention, ultimately. I'm interested in whether or not they engage in a respectful discursive process, which means being responsive to what's being said, having actually a purpose. Okay, well, so what's his purpose? His purpose is to prove me wrong, but he's not doing that in any meaningful way, right? I don't care if he's trying to damage my integrity or character or not. He's not successfully proving me wrong about anything because he's not arguing about anything I said. He did not want me to correct a contradiction. He wanted to make the point that I frequently contradict myself, which were his exact words. His first opening statement was not a question. It was a claim that I frequently contradict myself. A factually incorrect claim. I mean, look, that may be you may be totally legitimate in critiquing my ego or my display of ego, my choice of words, my claims about my claims, but that's not an attack about anything I say about cognitive functions. And that's the truth. Right? And I have maintained the same position on cognitive functions, namely that I have figured it out and it's exclusively correct beyond others, right? I've maintained that position for a long time now. So to say that I am contradicting myself is wrong. It's simply factually wrong. But the end video what did I just say? I've maintained that position for a long time. So it doesn't indicate a contradiction. Does it? It might indicate ego gone out of control or something, but it doesn't indicate a contradiction, does it? Now, if you can't acknowledge that, then you're what I refer to as a spite monkey. Can you acknowledge it or not? Can you engage in civilized discourse or not? Because that's civilized discourse, is acknowledging the truth. My ego does not have any relationship to the model's integrity. The model is you can actually attack the model itself. You can actually attack things I say about cognitive functions. You don't have to attack me. And when you say that I'm wrong or am contradicting myself because of things that are related to my egotistical claims or something, that's not related at all to cognitive functions. That's not a meaningful critique of anything that I say. You're critiquing my manner or affect, my lack of good FE, my arrogance, my self-importance, my needing to be taken down a notch. You're addressing all of those things, but you're not addressing anything that I'm actually saying. Correct or not? Again, in video. And are you, you are correct. In that instance, that's a contradiction. When I say I'm the beginning and end of cognitive functions, I say in other places that Carl Jung is the beginning of cognitive functions. You're right that if you take that idiomatic expression literally, that I contradicted myself. I agree with that. I concede that point. However, I would point out that if you're trying to make the point that I frequently contradict myself, that doesn't make that point, okay? Okay, well, that if that's the core issue, is that claim, right, in the beginning and end of cognitive functions, then again, you aren't addressing anything I say about cognitive functions, are you? Acknowledge that. That's what differentiates spite monkeys from not spite monkeys. You notice how I acknowledged that there's a contradiction in what I said about myself, about my own claim there, that it's true that I've contradicted myself. Now you acknowledge that that is nothing to do with anything I say about cognitive functions. No, in video in, acknowledge it. Be a man. Be a man. The claim of being the pinnacle of the field is a core issue. It blinds one to improvement. No, it doesn't. My process is very much open to critique. That's why I'm asking you to critique my process so that I can improve it. It's not a core issue. I am not driven by my ego. I'm driven by the success or failure of the model itself, by whether it validates on logical grounds and on truth grounds. And to claim otherwise is to make lies about me. You are lying. I am not driven by my belief that I have it right now to maintain that I have everything right. It is continually open to legitimate critique by anybody.
Really
you are not critiquing anything I'm saying about cognitive functions. And that is true. Note, you have a choice. You could read my book and ask me questions about things I actually say in it. In video in, I may be ego driven, but that is not a critique of anything I'm saying. You could actually choose to read my book and ask me questions about things I actually say.
Yeah.
And you're choosing not to do that. Why? Because you don't want to critique what I'm actually saying. You want to critique my ego statements, and my lack of good FE, my excessive claims in that one occasion of an idiomatic expression, the beginning and end of, and you're taking it literally, okay? It's right there. I put a link to it right there.
It's existed for a while.
The point is, envisioning, you could actually ask me about things I say about cognitive functions, not about myself or my role in understanding cognitive functions, okay? Because the thing is, if you want to prove in video in, listen, if you want to prove there's an inconsistency in my model, you need to prove there's an inconsistency in my model, not in my statements about myself. Again, I'm not claiming to be consistent in my statements about myself. I am inconsistent in those. But you don't claim to be critiquing that, do you? You claim to be critiquing my model. And you're saying that my inconsistency with statements about myself means you don't need to even look at what I say to determine that it's not worth anything. If you actually looked at what I said, you'd point out things that I said. You say, you said this here, Eric, but you said this here. So making contradiction of any kind of false statement is inconsistent. It should be corrected. This is why you did it. No, we established what you were trying to establish right off the bat, which was that I frequently contradict myself. You failed to establish that. You had no critique of my cognitive function model whatsoever, and you have failed to actually falsify my claim that I am functionally the one who has fixed and solved cognitive functions, and that to the extent that other people disagree with me, they're wrong. You've not contradicted that. In order to address that, actually, you'd have to address things I actually say about cognitive functions. So this is what I mean by you being a spite monkey. You're not responding to what I'm saying. You continue to try to shit on me, and you're dishonest in your approach. This is why I am disgusted with you. This is why I'm angry at you. This is why I will not go on Discord anymore, because you're being fundamentally dishonest. I didn't say it was personal. I am saying you are being fundamentally dishonest in your argumentation. If you were being honest in your argumentation, you'd acknowledge and learn something from the fact that you have not negated anything I say about cognitive functions. That you do not simply want to help, you liar. That's absolutely not the case. I have pointed out that you opened with the claim that I frequently contradict myself. That is factually false. I've also pointed out that my claim that I was the beginning of the cognitive functions, taken as an idiomatic expression, did not even comprise a contradiction. And additionally, your condescending attitude is totally unjustified by your total lack of good argumentation heretofore. So maybe you need to. I'm a lunatic. Why? What have I said what have I said that's crazy? Everything I've just said is perfectly sane. And you call me a lunatic. I mean, I'm not literally beating the fire. Everything that I am saying makes perfectly good sense. And so for him to call me a lunatic means he's acknowledging he can't understand what I'm saying or chooses not to. I mean, you are hearing it as well. What I'm saying makes perfectly good sense, doesn't it? It's not difficult to understand. So watch it. That's what you began with. You frequently contradict yourself. Note the end video in. You have a choice here to prove that you're a decent human being who can engage with me discursively fairly. And instead you said, I'm a lunatic, even though I said nothing to justify that whatsoever. So that's why you are being hidden. And note, it is not because I don't want to discuss or a differing opinion. I've acknowledged, to the extent that you have anything justified in your claim, I've acknowledged it already. You've done nothing equivalent. I didn't. That's not correct. My behavior and inability to admit error is unbelievable. I can come up with 100,000 examples of me admitting error. Note, I don't tend to admit the same error twice because I fix it. And note how you have not acknowledged anything here. And you're being so dishonest that even when I conceded what you wanted me to concede, you say I have an inability to admit error. So you're a liar or an idiot or both. And that's the truth. And that's why I'm going to ban you.
I approve of that ban.
It is not because I can't handle people differing with me on my opinion. It's because of what Skygear said. When you come in and differ with me about my opinion, I concede a point that you want me to concede, and you then proceed to say I can never admit when I'm wrong. You're just a hateful person, a worthless, hateful person.
Yeah, ninja trolls are very real.
So, I'm taking the necessary precautions. Dave Sampson, if you're still here, you saw that exchange. That was the kind of shit I was dealing with.
Yeah.
And you can see how the person is not being honest, right? So I don't like to deal with dishonest people. Yeah, if you want to correct me and say, listen, this doesn't play well, I'll agree with you. That doesn't play well. I should probably rephrase that. But you're trying to prove that I contradict myself and therefore I'm not a good scientist or something. I mean, fuck off. Do a little bit of intellectual work. Don't be such a retard. I mean, a Jean-Luc Picard. Sorry. What was the argument about? It's about a baiter and baiting and being dishonest in discourse versus being honest in discourse.
It's really important to be honest in discourse.
It's like, disagree with me all you want, but when a given argument chain comes to the end of that chain, acknowledge that and let's reach agreement. The point of discourse in general, the point of discussion in general, is for people to reach agreement about things, to resolve things about which they disagree. No, David Sanderson, as I've explained to you before, I don't want to argue with anybody. I don't mind having real debates, but those have preconditions to be in a real debate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time to waste with worthless fucking scrubs who think that disagreeing with me comprises arguing. So, yeah, you might think that makes me want to avoid arguing on equal footing. That's not equal footing. That is not equal footing. You want an argument on equal footing? Then structure speeches, question and answer periods, and have a resolution, as I have indicated to you multiple times before, and you continue to ignore. Why is it you continue to ignore that? Equal footing means equal footing.
Mm-hmm.
Equal footing means they have something, a point they're making, you know? What is that guy's point? That claim was overwrought? Fine. That claim was overwrought. But he's trying to expand it into a bunch of additional shit, a critique of me in general and my model in general that is totally unjustified. And then when actually called on it, he backtracks all the way back to, I'm just pointing out one contradiction. He wasn't even pointing out a contradiction. If you take the idiomatic expression in the beginning and end of, literally, then he would point out a contradiction. But obviously, it was more meaningfully understood as a figurative expression, meaning I'm the shit in cognitive functions right now. People don't like that being said because, of course, that means I'm making grandiose claims about myself. And people don't like that. They think it's a matter of ego, right? But the thing is, the problem is that's not about, if you want to pop my ego, pop the thing that I'm purportedly egotistical about. Don't try to just attack the ego itself. If I think I'm the best football catcher in football, don't say, I can't believe you say you're the best football catcher in football. Point out why I'm not. I put a link to it all the time, Raphael.
Mm-hmm.
Critique it all you want. I've never heard you quote it once. I give you all this ammunition. I mean, my experience, David Sanderson, is that's not the case. I've had one good conversation there, and I've had one awful conversation there. I've been baited to come there on a couple of occasions. I've gone there on a few occasions when it's a free-for-all. I've done this. Remember, I've been doing this for 7 years. I've had shit tons of live streams with rooms full of people on camera too, all arguing with me. To say that I'm avoiding shit is to have no sense of history at all and to have no sense of actual assessment of me. I'm not avoiding legitimate critique, debate, or anything. I'm avoiding wasting my time with a grab bag of it's got as much shit in it as it does gold coins. I don't want to spend my time grabbing into a grab bag of bullshit and hoping to pull out a gold coin.
No offense, I felt the same way.
Sorry, my time's too valuable to me. It's not reliable enough. A place to have good encounters, and it's reliably a place that will periodically provide me very anger-inducing encounters.
I was hoping to go on there and speak with Running Fox and Zandy mostly, but sometimes they don't.
You should
talk.
start your own Discord server or something like that.
No, I got their numbers, text and stuff.
Right. So it's like, what Valerie Elwood says is NVideon was not looking for an honest debate. He was just being a troll.
Yeah.
I agree. And the thing is, though, he's trolling me in defaming ways that almost require me to respond to them. I'm not going to let that shit just go unanswered.
It's true.
And David Sanderson is proof of why. You see what happened, David Sanderson? It's not just don't condemn the server because it did that hash problems occasionally, and you can always ban disingenuous people. The reason I'm condemning the server is because you came in here today, not sure what happened, and making the argument that maybe I'm avoiding legitimate argumentation or something. That's what the server has empowered you to do. That's what my having gone to the server has empowered you to do. It's empowered you to make that false critique. It's empowered you to hold that false belief. It's empowered you to be susceptible to other parties in Discord bending your ear and convincing you of some bullshit. I don't like that. I don't want to put myself in that position where I'm maximizing my vulnerability in that fashion for no good reason about shit that is not relevant.
Running Fox says hello. Or hey.
Hi, Running Fox.
Oh, hey! Hey, girl, hey! I'm so glad you're there. I like that you use salute.
Yeah, and Raphael, and I think Dave Sanderson as well. I'm not convinced you guys are very good at distinguishing between people who are being reasonable and honest and people who are being unreasonable and dishonest. Either you're not very good at it or you don't want to acknowledge the difference. There is a real difference, and I am never afraid to engage with somebody who's dealing with me honestly. Sometimes it's tough. If they're like a strong INTP coming in with good reasoning, I have to really have my game on to successfully defend myself, or sometimes I have to actually change things my positions because they convince me that it's right. You know, TWFP is populated with edgy debate me bros who like to swing metaphysical fallacies at each other. I agree, and that's not debating. That's just slap fighting. I'm not going to engage in your slap fights. It's a waste of my fucking time.
Kissing contest.
It's like the kind of shit that we're doing requires real intelligence, you know, not fake, not intelligence theater.
No, it's really, and it takes time too.
And when people want to engage against it in terms of intelligence theater, it really makes me mad. You know, I'm writing a new one, Fall Hot, which is not very far along. It's going to be more of a book and less of a compilation of tables and stuff.
I like the tables.
The tables book is fine, but it's not really a book. Well, the tables book is right here. But I was being treated as an unwitting WWE figure being placed around. Yeah, sort of. Let me also share the new thing that I'm working on, even though it's only a little ways along. This one? Yeah. So this thing here is intended to be a real explanation for everything in a way that hopefully will be understandable to everybody.
What's up, Torvis Shepherd?
So, you know, in this Strange Fields Object Vectors thing, it tries to explain how people are compositions of their habits of framing and valuing, and address frames and absolute values and instrumental values and stuff. But I haven't gotten very far along with it. And I'm trying to sort of get it so that it can take somebody from no knowledge to full knowledge, even if they're not super intellectual or anything. I'm trying to de-fancy it as much as possible.
I can help you with that.
Yeah, you have been. We Rachel and I have been working on that together. I should mention she's been finding pictures and stuff for me to go with it and helping me to sort of NI it a bit.
I'm a good editor. It's my dream job. One of my dream jobs. I've had like many dream jobs, but one of my dream jobs was to be an editor for a magazine because I knew that I was able to like get rid of like a lot of the stuff that wasn't working.
David Koresh says, I'm a cult leader. Is it because I try to tell people what to do and how to live? Is it because I ask for their money? Is it because I try to suggest that they believe as I believe? No, I'm not suggesting to anybody that they ascribe to my cognitive function model. I'm saying that to the extent that a cognitive function model is a meaningful thing and not an arbitrary thing, one explanation is correct and the other is wrong. in the same fashion as plate tectonics is the correct explanation, whereas expanding Earth is wrong. So that's my position. Does that make me a cult leader? No. And your position that I am makes you either incredibly dumb or incredibly spiteful. Which is it? Which is it, David? David Crash, are you incredibly dumb or incredibly spiteful? You do a lot of psychological tearing down of people. Well, there's a nice general claim. You want to give me an example? And then apologizing? I haven't done that in quite a while, actually. But I do some of that, yeah. I make mistakes. It's true. When I make mistakes, I'm accountable. I apologize.
True.
That's true. Good point. I am accountable. Are you? Doesn't sound like it. David Koresh equals cloud or NVIDIA or whatever. One of the hate people, who's not here to engage meaningfully about anything, but just to shit on me and to, I guess, enjoy sullying my bathtub with their feces.
You're showing your 4.
Maybe. But the nice thing is,
I think so.
Look, we got 28 people here. So while they're shitting in my bathtub, it does tend to draw a crowd.
They are watching.
Well, David Koresh, you haven't addressed anything I've said.
No.
So that means you are either incredibly dumb or incredibly hateful. Goodbye. You have to address what I say. People come here, they want me to address what they say. But of course, if you want me to address what you say, then you need to address what I say too, right? Make it fair. Yes, I did make the thing is, and the other thing is, it's a contradiction technically. If you interpret the expression in beginning and end of literally, but I mean it's an idiom,
Thanks,
Okay, they don't have to agree with me at all. They have to respond to what I say because I'm responding to what they say.
It's called debating correctly.
Okay? That's all I require. They have to honestly respond to what I say because I'm going to honestly respond to what they say. That's it. How do I know it's not a physical structure in the brain? Because it's a process. And yeah, I mean, I admit if you take the beginning and end part as that idiomatic expression literally, then I've contradicted myself because I've said many times before that Jung is the beginning of cognitive functions. So that's true. I've contradicted myself about my own role in the history of cognitive functions. They're not pointing anything I actually say about cognitive functions. So the reason I know that a cognitive function is not a physical structure in the brain is because a cognitive function definitionally is a process. So in other words, it's a way of paying attention. In order to be a way of paying attention, it may correlate to certain regions in the brain or certain kinds of brain activity, but because it's a durational thing, in other words, processes take time, it can't simply be an object.
Time at 6:6. You know what I've noticed with ENTJs and law of attraction is they use it as like an NI way to be like, hey, I did this, you can too, but they don't say how they do it. So they keep people on the edge of their seat, like, oh, how did you get there? Well, they don't answer it. So they just keep on saying the law of attraction, and people will pay to go to their seminars to find out how to use the law of attraction without really getting any hard evidence.
Here's the thing. The idea of cognitive functions, as far as socionics' perspective is concerned, is it begins with the process of locality suppression that is implicit to the brain. So in the brain, a phenomenon called locality suppression occurs. If one part of the brain lights up, the parts immediately surrounding that part of the brain dim down. Okay, locality suppression.
Raphael, Simmer down.
Yeah, simmer down. Exactly. Thank you, Running Fox. So the point is, this locality suppression idea suggests that if you are lighting up some part of your brain, that is, say, paying attention with some aspects of your cognitive abilities, that other areas of cognition that are somehow local to, but not the same as, the ones that you are applying get dimmed down. That is to say that there's a proportionality relationship or an inverse proportionality relationship. In other words, the fact that we can observe in reality, which is that taking out my toys and starting to play with them and playing with them is exclusive of putting them away and cleaning up and organizing, right? That you can't do both concurrently, that those are exclusive things. It also manifests as a way of paying attention, that you are prone to more frequently paying attention to the taking toys out and playing with them aspect of things, or more prone to the keeping your things nice and neat and tidy and organized into things. And you can't be prioritizing both concurrently because there's a native exclusivity to them, right? We understand that there's native exclusivity to things on the physical realm really easily. We understand that because I'm sitting here in Arcadia, I can't also be physically surfing in Rio de Janeiro right now at the same time, because we understand that the law of contradiction applies clearly to physical objects. What gives less metaphysical people more trouble is understanding the equivalencies with mental processes. And yes, there are equivalencies, and they make perfectly good sense, and there's good reason for them. But because my system is not, it's not based on, look, let me explain the process. I encountered cognitive functions about 7 years ago, and I started learning about them, and I realized there was a bunch of contradictory information everywhere about it from various different sources and a bunch of different systems. I was attracted to socionics, which seemed the most correct, but I realized fairly quickly on that there were some problems with socionics as well. So I tried to fix it. I tried to come up with a system that explained how it actually works, since none of the existing ones seemed to explain it. And I failed, and I had to scrap that one. And then I tried a second time. They tried to explain it and included some subtypes and stuff. And I failed again, and I had to scrap it again, because those things didn't withstand or sustain argumentational scrutiny. And now I've finally come up with the correct thing, or first I got it mostly correct, but there was one aspect that was giving me a lot of trouble, which was this aspects thing that I have since jettisoned and replaced with a more clear and obvious understanding of things, which is much better, which is the agent, object, subject perspectives. So the thing is, even when I knew I had basically got it figured out, I also knew concurrently that I didn't have it all the way figured out. There were some things I didn't have right yet. So were functions invented or discovered? Remembering that cognitive functions are a way of mapping the way that people pay attention, the answer is the language of cognitive functions is invented to explain the reality of discovered attentional manner differentiation. So recognizing that deliberating about something and already knowing the answer are two different kinds of paying attention is the initial insight that allows us to discover the rest of the cognitive function mechanics. That's the initial insight, is that there are different ways of paying attention, and that they have they have some sort of relationship of mutual exclusivity or proportionality. At least some of them do. What if you don't pay attention? Well, it means you're paying attention to something else, Valerie Atwood. So, like, let's say you're walking down the street and you're not paying attention to where you're going, and you run into a pole. That means you're paying attention to the metaphysical frame of reference too much and the physical frame of reference too little for the circumstances. If you wanted to put the normative kind of too much, too little aspect to it. Sure. Knowing your type means knowing your own defaults, which allows you to expand beyond them. Well, someone asked me the other day, what's the basic sum up of and any don't. What's the basic sum up of that? Every any don't. And I said, bullshitter. You know, it's like they're bullshit. They're bullshit makers. They just bullshit all the time. Well, I'm one of those types. But recognizing myself as a bullshitter is part of what's allowed me to stop being a bullshitter. And I'm not a bullshitter anymore. I'm very careful with what I say. I am not just spewing bullshit out my ass. I want it to withstand scrutiny.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, I definitely like hold you accountable to.
But of course, the other thing is that only goes so far, Joey, because another thing that happened for me was unintentional but relevant, which is if I had understood cognitive functions well enough, I would have said to myself, Eric, you better make a YouTube channel and sustain it for a long time, because there's no better way for you to hone your NI, your FE, and your TI at the expense of your extroverted intuition than doing that while concurrently allowing your extroverted intuition to run wild. So in this context, I'm allowed to let my extroverted intuition run wild by changing subjects all the time. So I don't have to always be talking about cognitive functions, while also maintaining TI-NI robustness when I do talk about cognitive functions. So in other words, when you ask me questions about cognitive functions, I'm not constantly changing my position on what I believe on it or anything. It's a very slow and deliberate process by which I eventually, sometimes I do go, okay, I've changed my position on this, but that's sort of a formal announcement time. Like, I've changed my position on the rat test. I no longer have as much faith in it as a representative of the NI process as I used to. And here's why. I've got a set of reasons as to why I originally overstated it and now have retracted from it.
FE is my tool function, and I FE in the public world a lot.
Like, well, think about Frank James. He makes statements about cognitive function sometimes, and he makes claims about personality type and stuff. But people don't perceive him as somebody who needs to be taken down a notch. There's a large number of people who perceive me as someone who needs to be taken down a notch.
Yeah.
What do you guys associate with the term dark mother of the night? Like a witch, I guess. That's the thing that comes to mind.
Yeah. Dark mother of the night. Yeah, I would think a witch too.
You know, you know how Christianity has the Virgin Mary?
Yeah.
Well, a less well-known part of that is the devil's correlate, the slutty cherry. Slutty cherry is the devil's consort, well, among many other people's consort, and but also, just like Virgin Mary, has immaculate conception. So when she does become pregnant, it's not from any sexual intercourse.
Running Fox, can I ask you a question? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but I do have a question for you. I'm very curious. I would like your opinion.
What's your question?
What Running Fox's opinion of Discord is, if she still participates or not.
There's a skunk right out there. There's a skunk.
There's a skunk?
Eating the cat food.
So my question is, what is your opinion on Discord?
You see a skunk, Rachel? You can't really see.
Yeah,
it.
I do.
You can't really see with this though. What a little wood pussy.
Okay.
You know, skunks are so cute. It's an adorable wood pussy, you might say. But
I don't want to.
yeah, I don't want to get sprayed or anything. It doesn't seem to be bothered by me shining the flashlight on it at
That's
all.
good.
I can't make the the camera stretch far enough to show you
Yeah.
the skunk, unfortunately. If I could just stretch it a little bit farther, I could show it to you. But yes,
Yeah.
another name for skunk, if you look it up in the dictionary, synonym for skunk is wood pussy. I think it's one word, though. I do believe it's one word, Katie. I just hope Katie doesn't get all up in the mix, you know.
That could not be so good. Where is Kitty right now?
Probably in the house, so it's probably okay.
You think she is?
Maybe.
Hey, Zealand Black.
Is polecat another word for skunk? Zealand Black?
That's cute. I like that.
No. Cognitive functions are not an excuse for failure and not to be credited for success, though analysis of functions may explain why both occur. In other words, basically, in my opinion, the proper relationship with cognitive functions is not to invalidate your own efforts as a role in explaining your own success. So in other words, I'm not successful just because I'm an ENTP. I'm successful for reasons particular to me. And it's also not to use it as an excuse. I'm not bad at this thing just because I'm an ENTP. I can show us a little bit of self-discipline and apply myself and get it done properly. And I don't need to be using cognitive functions as an excuse. So at the same time, I can certainly explain why I have so much trouble getting this particular thing correctly done when other people might have less trouble getting it correctly done. Or I can explain why I want to avoid a given thing sort of reflexively by using cognitive functions without using it to either to justify bad behavior or the lack of good behavior. So no, I don't think that's a contradiction.
I think my porn name is actually a pretty good porn name, but actually it would change because it's supposed to be your middle name plus the street that you live on.
Okay, David Sanderson, if your basic position here is that I was wrong in condemning all of Discord because of my bad experience, I concede that point. You are correct. I am overstated in my condemnation of Discord. Discord is a place that I'm sure has a lot of good to it. And
I was happy when I used it because I was happy it was there when Eric wasn't around. It was nice because I was like, oh, there are people from the community here that I can speak with. But then
the thing is this. It's probably wrong of me to condemn the platform as a whole, but I think I'm right to condemn it as a platform for me because it's for people who are it's like I'm beyond Discord's level of intellectualism.
Valerie Alwood, I come from New York, Long Island, New York. I was raised in Long Island.
I'm not around when I'm taking a nap, Katie. This is mostly what she means when I'm not around. I'm probably sleeping. I often take like 4-hour naps in the middle of the day.
Yeah, I like talking to you too, Email Anthrax. It's nice for like INFJs to kind of like voice who they are on there, but I did feel made fun of sometimes, and that I don't always want to have to defend myself.
I mean, the thing, yeah, that's the deal. Is it's unpredictable. I don't want to go in there not knowing whether or not I'm going to be baited like in that fashion.
Yeah.
And maybe I do need to develop the skill to avoid being baited more successfully. I don't deny that I need to develop that skill, but that doesn't mean that I want to go. It's not something I want to practice on purpose. It's like something I need to sort of. It really that's the other thing is whether or not how I react and how triggery I react to that kind of bullshit is it depends on my mood. So if I go in my expectations, if I go in expecting that kind of bullshit, I could, in theory, handle probably win that FE exchange. But number one, I don't want to fight that battle because it's pointless.
That's what I mean too. That even on the attacks, like Eric really sums it up there. Valerie Elwood, yes, I'm half Italian. The New York Italian, yes.
She's half Italian and half angel.
Oh, thanks, babe.
Of course, darling. The anus of the world? Where? I didn't know the world had an anus. I guess it would be in Antarctica.
You knew it? You called it?
Yeah, she comes from a family where everybody talks at each other like they're from Long Island, you know. What, Georgie? You gotta come over here and look at this thing. Come here. You know, it's like it's a very loud group of people.
Yeah. I wasn't really one of the loud ones, but I do have the accent from the place I do. But it's not like I'm like my mom used to like make fun of me because a lot of times I talk like a stoner. So like I'll slow things down and I'll be like blah 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 instead of blah blah. My mom has a really thick accent.
You know what's a good expression? I vote yes or I vote no on proposition that. So when someone goes, we should go to Jackson's election, I vote yes on proposition that. Or I vote no on proposition that.
Yeah, I like that.
It's a good expression.
Proposition no or yes on that. I like that.
Or if somebody like keeps using a filler word such as like or whatever, or so if I go like, you know, like every few words I like say like, bro, you're about to cause me to fall into a state of semantic satiation with this word. Okay?
Yeah, like emo. Valerie Alwood. I was born in Yonkers, so like I never really felt in. I was emo for a year. I can definitely say my senior year of high school I was emo, but that was pretty much it. Oh yeah, and then I was emo when I went through my INFP, like first breakup with a boyfriend. I felt like an INFP because I was like, Mom, I can't go to school. I'm gonna cry all day and listen to sad music.
Hambo is going through what you might call ontological crunch. It's not really a crisis. It's not really a lunch. It's kind of half an ontological lunch, half an ontological crisis. That's why you might call it an ontological crunch.
I like that. Did your mom let you stay home?
No.
Yeah, the answer's no.
She had
Thanks,
ESTJ mom.
Yeah.
And you know, seeing my dad interact with Delilah makes me realize, like, boy, FI polar sure comes in handy, and it sure came in handy in my childhood. But additionally, there's another important component. NI ignoring sure came in handy in my childhood. It's not just the FI polar, it's the NI ignoring. Because the NI of what my dad says sticks with my daughter longer than it does with me. And she puts more weight on the NI of what he says. And, you know, she takes his words pretty seriously.
I don't blame her. She's so young. And
granted, I've learned to take them less seriously over time. But, you know, it didn't bother me that much that my dad would say crazy nonsense. Oh, what's the NI of what he says? I I mean, it's like,
I really did feel for her.
you know,
I did. You know,
the NI is a bunch of
young.
harsh words to Delilah about, and harsh words and TE sort of threat motivations and stuff
Yeah.
that he's not going to ever follow through on.
No,
And that
no.
really just represent his frustration
Right.
with her not staying in contact with him and doing enough TE theater. He really expects a certain amount of TE theater from everybody. One of the things that really bothered her most of all was he said to her that because she's not made an effort to learn the protocols for the finances of paying for mom's care after he dies, that means she doesn't care about mom.
That really hit.
And of course, it's like, Dad, your TE frame is not universal, for God's sake.
She even told him that he hurt her. Like that, like.
And he said, and she's like, and she basically said what I said it sounds like. And what did he say? Same thing he says to me when he gets stuck on TI shit. I don't want to argue with you, Delilah. What happens when I get my dad pinned down on a TI thing? But meow, 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 and contradiction, meow, meow, meow. Son, I don't want to argue with you. Oh, now you don't want to argue with me. Now you don't want to argue with me. You wanted to yell at me a second ago, but now you don't want to argue with me.
It's like, here's the thing. Here's the way that it looks from my position as an outsider is that Delilah is 22, but everyone wants her to be more like an adult for some reason. Like, they treat her like she should be doing all this like adult stuff, and
I mean,
she's a kid still.
And the thing is, I don't know if anybody actually thinks that. It's just that people say these kind of scoldy things to her and stuff. She's more subject to scolding than me because she's not an 8. You know?
No, she's not. Wait, but what is she then?
I think she's a 1.
So she's a 7.
I think she's probably a 7 first, I guess. 712 or 721.
It's a free thinker, I think, or something.
721. She's a 2 as well, though. That's the other thing.
Oh, 721. Yeah, she likes to people please. Like,
she's a people pleaser more than me, and but I mean, she will.
She does her most. Like I feel like she does her. It's just been a tough.
She had a tough Christmas. She had a big. She got her dad brought her in like the day before Christmas to have a meeting to yell at her about not finishing college yet. And, her point that, well, COVID makes it so like some of the classes aren't offered and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to hear it. And, it's like results are all that matters kind of shit. Well, you can be sorry all you want, but that doesn't really change anything, does it? It's something my dad says, which I hate that. I hate that because it's like, oh, shit, you're making me care about actualities rather than just symbols.
I told Eric that I was lucky that I graduated on time because I took extra classes during the summer. If I didn't take extra classes during the summer, because it was obviously my ESTJ mom's suggestion, I wouldn't have graduated on time. It's really difficult to graduate on time.
Joey, my position on Enneagram is it's a complementary taxonomy. I don't defend Enneagram on TEI grounds. I don't claim that Enneagram is a model or that it has any mechanics to it. My position is it's a good way to taxonomy different emotional attitudes towards different kinds of things in life. And that it fits on top of cognitive functions just fine without contradicting anything within it. So it's fine to use both of them. To the extent that people perceive subtypes, what they're actually perceiving are probably a combination of an Enneagram type and personal experience that represents differentiation within a given type.
Diamond, I believe she's already burnt out. I think yesterday was the burning out point, but we'll see her soon.
Yeah, because the thing is, so she got attacked in her polar 2 times over the holidays. First by my dad, who attacked her polar when he said, you don't care about your grandma because you're not demonstrating it in the following way. She doesn't know how to respond to that. She wants to try to argue the point that no, that's not correct. That's not a good justification, rather than sort of an FI response is, how dare you? How dare you question my love for that woman? You know, she is incredibly precious to me. And the reason is because she knows the next thing will come, well, why don't you take any action to show it? You know, well, because we're FI polar. That's why. Because we tend to forget she's alive. Does that make us terrible people? Sort of, but
No.
you know, it's like, I don't know, it's just how it is, right?
Why would that make you terrible? I think that people handle things differently. They just are. People are different.
I mean, I don't think there are any real mechanics in Enneagram types. I like the idea of a tri-type explaining. I mean, the basic mechanics of it, the idea of it is you have one way to avoid shame, one way to avoid fear or burdensome responsibility, and another way to avoid or to deal with anger. So you either avoid, confront, or withdraw on each of them. So for me, I avoid first fear, I confront anger, and then I avoid shame. So what that means is I play for my 5, 6, 7. I play the day away as Rome Burns. I fiddle as Rome Burns. For my 8, 9, 1, if you come at me with bro, I'm going to come back with bro. You know? And then for my 2, 3, 4, if someone's like, you should be ashamed of yourself, I'm going to say, fuck your social mores, I'm going home. Or, no, you should be ashamed of yourself. My understanding of what constitutes shameful behavior is more correct than yours.
Yeah.
You know, that's the 4 approach.
That's 4. That's what I jumped to second.
So she's 7, 4,
8.
8, I think.
I think I'm an 8. I used to test 8 a lot.
The thing is, you don't see her 8 very much, just like you don't see my 4 very much. And when you do see my 4, it gets misinterpreted as FI. So when I say, you know what, fuck this Discord shit, I'm going home, it gets interpreted as FI. It gets interpreted as, see, you can't take being challenged, Eric.
Yes.
You can't take having your ideas challenged. Fuck that noise. I can take that just fine. I'm not consumed by that kind of FI bias, right? But I am, nevertheless, going to be considerate of my time and go, okay, well, this is a situation where for my 4 to come out. You guys, all of you guys here, F-E be damned, all of you guys are wrong, and I'm right, and fuck you guys, I'm going home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I've had trouble with authority because that's my, like, when I get upset, like, that's my go-to. So that's what I did to Discord, actually. Like, I don't know, people were on there, I was just like, screw you guys.
If you've ever seen the occasions when Rachel's had enough and she busts out her little middle fingers and is really mad and stuff, she is a 3rd in the tri-type. But the thing is, when it's 3rd in your tri-type, it doesn't really display that much. So nobody would, after knowing Rachel or watching a few streams, would say, oh, she must have 8 in her tri-type.
No, but I definitely do because I get stubborn. I get very stubborn, and I think 8s are very stubborn.
And if you understand 4 well enough, you probably wouldn't conclude I had 4 in my tri-type either, because I keep focusing so much on that which validates universally rather than that which validates individually. So you can see how 4 modifies me, and 7 modifies me, and 8 modifies me from a default sort of imaginary default mean of an ENTP. I'm an ENTP who is avoidant of responsibility, avoidant of planning and commitment, and I'm an ENTP who gets angry when his playtime is disrupted, and I'm an ENTP who ultimately won't be pushed around by your social mores, your expectations of me to help you or to achieve on your metrics by having a fancy car and money and success or whatever. So, you know, 7 is meow. 8 is meow, and 4 is meow.
That's why I get like this and then hold me back. I'm like, fuck you, I'm going home. And then if you continue with the bullshit, then I'm like, hold me back. because I'm just gonna.
Well, INFPs, I think, are very likely to be 7-4s or 4-7s. You know, as far as the 8-9-1, you're probably not that likely to be 8, but you could be. I mean, that's the thing. I dated once a 5-8-4 INFP, and
Oh.
yeah, it can be 8. INFPs can be 8. don't mess
You
with
don't
INFJs when they're angry, and don't mess with
No.
INFPs when they're angry.
don't mess with ENTPs when they're angry either. I'm telling you, they get so mean. He's very charming and like he gets angry on here, right? You see it, but you do not want to get an ENTP angry.
I want to stress, I hope that Rachel is not speaking from experience with her. I hope that when I'm angry, that I don't
I just
get
mean in
angry.
general.
Yeah, I hope that I don't get angry with her and or mean with her.
No.
No, I know. I just wanted to clarify for general consumption that she's not saying from personal experience, don't mess with Eric. When Eric's mad, he'll be mean to me.
I mean ENTPs.
Because the thing is, I treat my personal relationships very differently than my relationships on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So, like occasionally basically Delilah can get away with saying shit that I would normally say, okay, that's wrong, and here's why. But I don't want to argue with her. And Rachel doesn't really say anything that I particularly like that I want to disagree with very much. But you know, if she does say something that I don't agree with, then I just am silent. I just don't respond to it. And then she and I don't need to explicitly say things to understand each other, really.
No. Honestly, every type is scary when they're angry. Let's just be real. Because I have seen an angry INTJ that was horrifying. You've seen an angry ISFJ that's horrifying. Like, every type is... Okay, so what is the difference between 5 and 6? They're both head types. They're in the head type of 5, 6, and 7. 5 is...
Look, let's start with 6. 6 is retreat and go into your keep
and worry
and make sure that your existing resources are all set up because you can't predict what the scary thing is going to do.
Right.
5 says if I learn and study and think about it enough, I'll predict what the scary thing is going to do. It won't be scary anymore once I understand it. Whereas 7 says, what scary thing? There's no scary thing.
Yeah.
7 is the monkey, the dark playground monkey guy. You know, the I forget what he's called, like impulse monkey or something, and the dark playground, and how he's trying to steer the ship towards getting his work done. And impulse monkey comes and takes and steers him to the dark playground, where he starts going down this hole where he's trying to play so hard that he's pushed out of his head entirely this thing that he's avoiding doing. Right? That's a 7 thing.
I heard this story of, it was like a Dear Amy or, you know, the Dear Addie, those kind of things. And this woman was upset because her sibling hadn't come home for their parents' funeral. And in my own, like, 7 way, I, like, understood.
I understood, too. I understand, too.
It's like...
Where's the other one? The other bottle of weed.
Down there?
No, it's not. Actually, interestingly.
No,
so this here is Jack.
It's right there, the black one.
Oh, the black one.
Yeah.
This one. I thought you pointed to the green.
Oh, no. Because
for some reason I thought it was green.
I didn't know which one you were talking about.
Now, do you remember what the indica is called?
Let me think.
The sativa is Jack. The sativa is Jack. This one right here that we got more of, we got 5 grams of,
I don't remember. It didn't stand out.
Is Jack Herrera.
Yeah.
The indica is, you know, one of those OGs, like something OG or, You know, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's a good solid indica. And I'll tell you something else. For Jack, this is dense Jack and it's sticky Jack, because Jack normally isn't sticky and it's not that dense, but it's really good anyway. This is real Jack, smells just like Jack. You can smell it when you okay, so David Sanderson, that's why I'm avoiding Discord. Because if you watch me engage with people who engage with me honestly, then you wouldn't say that. But if you watch me engage with people who engage with me dishonestly, you might be fooled, as you have been. And that's why I want to avoid Discord. Because there are people like you who are susceptible to being fooled. Of course, the thing is, if you were going to be skeptical of me and my channel, then that should be, if you were thinking properly, because you've read some things that don't make sense or that you have good answers to. Instead, it's because of my affect and general approach. So it makes sense then. I wouldn't want to put myself in a position where people could mistake my affect and general approach for my competency. And since there are people like you who use that as a heuristic or a red herring, quote unquote, in other words, I'm not going to look into the actual thing itself. I'm going to determine this based on a heuristic approximation. That's exactly why I shouldn't be on Discord, because people like you are susceptible to making that mistake. Now, the thing is, again, be as skeptical of my channel as you and me and my channel as you want. I'm not asking. There's nothing to be skeptical about. Well, I mean, it's like me and my channel. Do you doubt that I exist or that the channel exists? What's there to be skeptical about? Are you skeptical about my explanation of cognitive functions? That's a different thing, isn't it? Skeptical about me and my channel, that's fine. I don't need you to believe in me or my channel at all. There's nothing to be skeptical about, right? You can't be skeptical about a person or a YouTube channel. You have to be skeptical about claims that people make. What claim have I made that you're skeptical of? David Sanderson, which claim have I made that you're skeptical of? Remembering that you can't be skeptical of people or channels. It doesn't make any sense. That's not how words are used correctly. You want yours.
I think I'm going to,
Yeah, I broke this into bonds.
Thank you.
And this is an important moment here, right? Because it's like, this is a chance for David Sanderson, who's a reasonable person who engages with me reasonably, to think through what's a totally legitimate point I'm making here. To say that you're skeptical of me and my channel is to conclude that what I actually have to say is irrelevant. And I mean, that's pretty awful. And I can guarantee you that in no small part you became confused in that fashion to cease to focus on what I'm saying and focus on me and the channel because of Discord, because of your engagement with people there. That's why you've had this shift of approach. You've heard a lot from people in Discord about one conversation I had the other night. You've generalized a lot from that. You've ignored 7 years worth of videos. You've ignored plenty of examples of me engaging in real discursive stuff, right? In order to become skeptical of me and my channel or something. What? That's just bad thinking.
I transubstantiated that farmer to Winston's mom.
Okay, so what I'm going to put here is, I guess I deleted all the ones where the Kimball speeches, maybe? Oh, she's app, of course, that's why. Noise. No. Okay. So we're going to start here. This is my former assistant coach.
My partner Ariana, and today
My former assistant coach, Denise Kimball. Okay.
and this is my partner Ariana, and today we stand in affirming the resolution. We reserve the right to provide counter definitions should we disagree with those of our opponents, but I'd like to begin with framework. Whichever side restores Iraq's territorial integrity best should win the round. Okay, let me go on to contention 1, which is that new war developments mean that airstrikes are no longer useful. Johnson, 2015A. Can the United States...
Why am I linking this and talking about this? Well, the answer is because what you see here is Kimball basically kick my ass in this round, okay? You will see her kick my ass if you watch all these things. And you will watch me get my ass kicked, fair and square. Not have any problem with it. I mean, I'm trying to argue against it, obviously. I'm giving my best fight, but I am absolutely not winning this round, ultimately. And you will see what it looks like.
Didn't do the analysis, demo the analysis
For me
that we talked about.
to genuinely lose something.
If you don't want to do the analysis, if it's too much of a challenge, just don't do it. Like Kimball didn't do it, and it's fine. If you want to try it, you can try it. Okay.
Leaf trimmer.
Here we go.
That's so antiquated.
Hello, my name is Eric. This is my partner Edgardo, and we are on the negative side of the resolution. Our framework is simply a cost-benefit analysis with a focus on U.S. interests. For definitions, we reserve the right to provide counter definitions should we disagree with those of our opponents. Contention 1, from Welch 2015A, the tag is too much uncertainty. One concern is that Iran's pursuit of nukes will set off a regional nuclear arms race, another possible game theory scenario here in which could incentivize regional powers.
Okay, so
I'm rebutting the affirmative case, yes. Okay, so what you would do, if you're going to rebut the affirmative case, let's say you don't know what cards to read. You're going to go to your neg section here. You've got these neg cards. Now, Welch is in your case. Cunningham's in your case.
now I want to point something out about these links I'm putting here. This woman, who was my former assistant coach, also is a California state champion in policy debate in 1989.
Wow.
The same year that I qualified for states, but my team didn't go. Okay, she's state champion in California policy debate in 1989. She's the same age as I am, and she was my assistant coach, and we were working together with these kids. Okay, I want to also note that the date on this is quite some time ago. It's what's the date on
Lawn
this?
trimmer, you want what you want.
2015. Okay. 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
5 years ago,
Wow.
David Sanderson. Me and the 1989 state champion of policy debate in California were having real arguments about real subjects. And I would win or lose sometimes, depending, because she was really good. Okay? Now, you're saying because of a conversation I had on Discord with some fucking morons that you're starting to doubt me in this channel. Before anybody ever heard of Dave Sanderson, I was working with the state champion of California for 1989 as my assistant coach, remember, helping students make real arguments about real things. So, if my response to your skepticism about me and my channel is shove it up your fucking ass. I'm more legit than you'll ever be at anything your entire life.
Let's come to this.
Another former assistant coach of mine is Scott Wheeler, who coached for 2 consecutive years the NSDA national champions in competition policy debate.
And that's why.
I'm as fucking legit as they come. Yeah, it is righteous arrogance. I have earned my arrogance. I have national champions. I have California state champion in public forum under my belt as a coach. I've got the national champion in declamation under my belt as a coach. So yeah, it's righteous arrogance. I have earned my arrogance. When I got fired from being the director of the biggest juggernaut middle school program in the country, kudos College Youth Leadership, I had 2 months to put together a elementary school pair of kids, 5th graders, 4th graders, whatever, to compete against an elementary tournament that was coming up in actually less than 2 months against my juggernaut elementary public forum squad that never lost, that had never lost. And what did I do? I found a couple of kids, coached them up, and they went in there and won that tournament and beat all my former elementary school public school kids at the biggest juggernaut in the country at that shit. Why? Because coaching matters a great deal. You know, you want to tell fucking, what's his name? Who's the coach of Alabama? Nick Saban. You want to tell Nick Saban, your attitude during the conference is making me skeptical of you and your football program. Then you go ahead and say that. That makes perfectly good sense. Okay? Because it means you are paying no attention to anything that matters.
Leaf Trimmer, that would be a great movie.
Yeah, I mean, I used to have a lot of good debate content up here with students and stuff. I took most of it down because YouTube got all fussy about children, you know. But the point is, coaches matter. I told this bitch before she fired me at Kudos. I'm like, I am not replaceable. You can't just put some random scrub and expect things to roll smoothly because I created the protocols and now you can execute them without me. No, coaches are not replaceable. Superstars and athletes and coaches are the 2 things that actually aren't replaceable in the world. It's like everything else is replaceable. It's true. Like personnel are always replaceable. Everyone's replaceable is the saying in business world, right? Except for coaches and superstars. Those are the 2 fields in which you cannot just plug somebody in. Won't work. You know, you can't replace having LeBron James on the Lakers with 3 other players who are pretty good and expect to have just as good of results, right? You can't just stick any old coach in where Nick Saban is and expect just as good of results.
When he's right, folks.
So, you know, if you want to, okay, yeah, coders too. No, okay, you're right, Sky Gear. Coders can't be replaced either. very easily, right? Good coders, good IT problem solvers can be replaced very easily. So there's another one. But the thing is, like, to say that me having the bad attitude towards those morons on Discord makes you be skeptical of me and my channel, makes me be skeptical of you and your brain.
Here comes that 4. Nines are like, yeah, I'll do whatever you want. Yeah, I'll do whatever you want. Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. And then you do it so much. They do it so much that they don't recognize what they like anymore. And then once they have a valid opinion on something, they're really forceful about it. They get angry. It's like, no, I want this. Oh, sorry. I didn't recognize that. I didn't know.
Diamond, I'm glad that finding this live stream caused you to move your house. That's it. Now that I've met Eric and Rachel, I can no longer live in my current abode. I need to upgrade to a different place. And she did.
That's what I did.
You know what that's called? It's called Gestaltzerfall phenomenon with your house. You looked at it so much that it ceased to be a house, and you had to change locations.
I guess I won't do that.
Yeah.
Did I?
I don't know. I was talking about Diamond and her house.
I know, but I moved out.
But see, I don't think you moved out for Gestaltzerfall phenomenon so much as to get away from those fucking crazy people.
Okay. That's, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm about done with live streaming. How about you?
I feel like I could go for more.
Okay, well then, I feel like I want to play a song, I guess.
Okay. I don't know why I feel like I could go for more, but
I do.
I want to address one of Winston's mom's things that she wrote about, like someone something saying about her like Saturn being something. I was told by an astrologer that I wouldn't get like married until like 35. Like if I wanted to get like married, that she's like, you have to wait till like 35 because you're ascendant or something. She saw it in my chart. I was like, okay, that's fine. Oh, delay in education. I had delay in marriage. But like, I also, it literally says in my like cafe astrology, which like most new people to astrology use that. Like it was one of my first anyway. Says right in my birth chart, Venus square Uranus. She will most likely not get married, and if she does, she will call it a young mistake.
I don't know that song, Sweet Lord, My Sweet Lord by George Harrison.
That's my grandma Lepos' favorite song.
Yeah, I don't know that one, unfortunately. I think what I'd like to play is a song that I'm going to dedicate to two people concurrently. I'm going to dedicate it to Rachel, the sentiment of it. But I'm also going to dedicate it to Winston's mom because I know she likes this song.
Oh, that's nice.
She likes when I play it.
Aww.
Okay, here we go. Look at me. Me. Look at me. I'm as helpless as a kitten up a tree. I'm really having trouble with this tonight, huh? Let me try to start over and get it right. Is this the problem, this chord? Let's say play it here. Look at me. Helpless as a kitten up a tree. And I'm going to get it right now. Just be patient. Thank you for your patience. I'll have it in a second and it's going to be perfect. You'll see. Okay, here we go. And we're ready to go. Look at me. I'm as helpless as a kitten up a tree. And I feel like I'm clinging to a cloud I can't understand. I get misty just holding your hand. Walk my way, and 1,000 violins begin to play. Or it might be the sound of your hello, the music I hear. I get misty the moment you're near. Can't you see that you're leading me on? And it's just what I want you to do. Don't you notice how hopelessly I'm lost? That's why I'm following you. On my own. When I wander through this wonderland alone, never knowing my right foot from my left, my hat from my glove. I'm too misty and too much in love. Too misty and too much in love. Thanks.
I really hit my FI.
I got it together, sort of, by the end. Kind of messed it up a bit, but you know,
Yeah, I thought
not
it was
too terribly.
good.
Here's another song I feel like playing right now.
Cool.
Why did it not play?
I have a question to pose to the live stream.
Okay, what's your question?
If you're a babysitter or if you're house sitting, well, house sitting, I feel like, okay. Yeah. If you're babysitting or house sitting, do you eat the people's food? Because I always did when I babysat. Mostly because they would, like, the parents would be like, well, like, when I first started babysitting, like, they were very nice about it, and they were like, have whatever, just, here's the food, here's the food, here's the food. And at first, I like felt weird about taking it because I'm like, it's not really mine. But then the more I babysat for them, the more I ate, and then I was like, am I eating too much? Like, I got to like.
And then they eventually said, you're eating too much.
No, they didn't say anything. They never said anything. They were so great. Then I went. I forget what happened.
All right, well, we'll see what people have to say in response to your question as soon as we're done playing this lovely little song here, which I'm fond of and excited to play.
Do I know this?
I've played it before, but you may not know it well enough. I'm not sure.
No, I wasn't asking to sing more. No, I don't.
All right, here we go. Let's play this version. I think it's going to be better. Okay, cool. So let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of this. And then when I get down to green beans, cabbage, and greens, can you scroll down for me?
Where is it?
Or, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so, and, all right.
Oh shit.
It's fine. Scroll down a little bit more. There you go. I love coffee. I love coffee. I love tea. Let me try the other one. Go to this other one over here. I love coffee, I love tea. I love the Java and it loves me. Coffee and tea, and the Java and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Oh, I love Java, sweet and hot. Wolf Mr. Moto, I'm a coffee pot. Shoot me a pot, and I'll pour me a shot. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Oh, slip me a slug from that wonderful mug, and I'll cut a rug till I'm snug in a jug. A slice of onion and a raw one, draw one. Waiter, waiter, percolator. I love coffee, I love tea. I love the Java and it loves me. Coffee and tea, and the Java and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Boston beans, soybeans. I said those itty bitty green beans, cabbage and greens. I'm not keen about a bean unless it is a chili bean. Talking boy, I love coffee, I love tea. I love the Java and it loves me. Coffee and tea, and the Java and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. I love Java, sweet and hot. Wolf Mr. Moto, I'm a coffee pot. Shoot me a pot and I'll pour me a shot. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Oh, throw me a slug from that wonderful mug. I'll cut a rug till I'm snug in the jug. I put a nickel in your pot, Joe. Taking it slow. Waiter, waiter, percolator. I love coffee, I love tea. I love the Java and it loves me. Coffee and tea, and the Java and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Thank you,
That's
thank
such
you.
a cute song.
Can you go back to the live stream now?
Mhm.
Now, if anybody has any requests, then
Yeah.
I would be happy to play any requests that I know how to play, that I know the tune of already. That I already know the song. I can probably get the chords and lyrics to it and successfully execute it. If you have any requests of songs that I know, then I will try to play your request.
Can we do a Beatles song?
Sure. Which Beatles song would you like to do? There one in mind in particular? Some of
No.
them are challenging.
I mean a non-challenging one, like one maybe from the beginning of like something from Rubber Soul or something like that. Even like Yesterday, that's fine. Oh, I love this song.
I'm not sure that's what it's called, though. I think it's called that. You know what it's called? What's that song?
No, I love you still. Will I wait?
Will I wait?
Will I wait a lonely lifetime? If you want me to, I will. Oh my gosh, I
maybe
used to love this song.
Maybe it's I Will. Maybe it's just called I Will.
I will, yeah. I will.
Let's try. Who knows how long I've loved you? You know I love you still. Will I wait a lonely lifetime? If you want me to, I will. Or if I ever saw you, I didn't catch your name, but it never really mattered. I will always feel the same. Love you forever and forever. Love you with all my heart. Love you whenever we're together. Love you when we're apart. And when at last I find you, your song will fill the air. Sing it loud so I can hear you. Make it easy to be near you. And the things you do endear you to me. Oh, you know I will. I will. That little bit there is
I used
challenging.
to love that song. I used to want someone to sing that song to me. Thank you. I forgot about that song.
Imagine what the best debaters do is research and read about policies all day and have a lot of knowledge they can disseminate on the fly. They are knowledgeable and eloquent. Are you saying that I'm not knowledgeable and eloquent? Now, that I don't have a lot of knowledge I can disseminate on the fly? I mean, what do you think I do for my job? I research and read about policies all the time. I mean, let's see. We're still on, and I haven't started the new topic, but we're still on, well, I mean, here's an example of a case we're working on right now.
That's good.
And let's see what the time frame of the evidence is here. Let's take a quick look. First card I reference is 2002, but the second card I reference is 2020. The third card I reference is 2020. The fourth I reference is 2020. Then a 1973 card from Thompson, a 2020 from Albrecht, 2001 card from Beckerman, another 2020 from another Albrecht card, and then 2020 from a couple of 2002 cards from Ramsey. So if your point is I'm not up to date enough about current policy or something, you can check out the negative response to Are you saying so? But I'm not sure what your point is here. So, Dave Sanderson, I'm assuming your basic thesis is that you've got good reason to be skeptical, and that we're still on that thesis. And so you're saying that you know, that this must be a way that you are different from Eric or something, you know?
I think Winston's mom is right. FI at ease, LOL. Indeed, I think she's giving good advice.
I mean, the thing is, the serious topic you want to discuss, in my mind, is barely serious enough to actually discuss. Like, in other words, whether or not me and the channel are legitimate. That's a weird thing to even be discussing, because those aren't the sort of things that can really be legitimate. You know, claims, arguments, those things can be legitimate. I can't be legitimate or illegitimate. The channel can't be legitimate or illegitimate. Those that's silly, you know. There, it's fixed now. Can I freestyle like an Italian? Sure. Or the meatballs and spaghetti and the pizza and canals. I'm Italian, you can tell, because meatballs are my noun. I like a pizza pie, and I like spaghetti. I'm Italian, you can tell by what I eat. Hey, you get out of my way, I'm Italian. What's the matter, you? I'm Italian. Oh, you want a piece of this watermelon? I'm Italian. Get over here, Anthony. Get your ass over here. I'm Italian. Maria, won't you be my bride? My name is Anthony, and you and I can make married in Catholic Church and have a bunch of little children whose last names end in L-E. Like Janelli, for example. Oh, I like meatballs, spaghetti too. Mob movies make me think it's true to be Italian. Means you're very tough and wear fantasies. Back when I came from Italy, it was just me and your grandma, bless her heart. And we sold apples in 1920s era New York, bless our hearts. We worked hard to provide a life for you and your sister, so why won't you marry a nice Italian boy? Move out from Yonkers to Long Island. Yeah, I'm Italian.
That was so good.
Thanks.
I think my grandma is clapping in heaven, and my grandpa.
Thanks.
You're welcome. And also, I think you told the story of my brother Anthony's life.
I see. Did he sell carts from apples from a cart in 1920s era New York?
No, but his soul did.
That was nice to play that song. Thanks for indulging me, everybody.
Someone wanted to hear the American version
The American version of Americans?
of Italy, your Italian song.
I mean, by Italian song for Americans?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. Oh, that's an American song. Let's close the borders down. I'm sick of all these Mexicans around. That's what I tell to my gardeners. I'm sick of hearing all this foreign talk out of you guys. Jesus Christ. Don't you know how to work for a living? Now, folks, I've been on disability for quite a while now. I get that in addition to my pension from my military service that lasted about 3 years, but pays me for the rest of my life. So you lazy Mexicans, why won't you learn English while you're busy out there cleaning up my yard? And I don't want Canadians, but I really don't care, 'cause they're kind of like me. So let's build a wall to the south of us, but not one to the north. 'Cause really, I don't care a lot about Mexicans.
Or Canadians.
Canadians are fine though. Like William Shatner is a Canadian. So, he's cool. That's
Pamela Anderson.
why, there's the other American song is, but why would I ever need to learn how to talk weird? I already speak English. Why would I ever need to learn to measure weird? 'Cause I've got feet and inches and some pints and gallons. All you Europeans seem so strange. Why can't you get your ways are different and therefore wrong and deranged compared to me?
You could do other accents.
Now I will admit, as time's passed, I've grown to enjoy the little game that you like to call football. I just want to inform you all well in advance, however, we got to claim that name for football. The thing that you call football is really called soccer. The thing that you call football is not football. You need to get tackled in football. That doesn't mean sliding on your feet. See, this is the thing. Soccer mistakes sliding for baseball and then baseball for football. That's how soccer became named football.
I learned about that, you mad bro. I actually learned how much Canadians do not want Americans in their country. I called the embassy because I had a DWI and I was going to go on a trip to Toronto with my friends.
They're like, no, you can't come.
Yep. Yeah, they said no. I was like, it's been 3 years. They were like, it has to be 7 and then you can come through. I was like, for real?
Has it been 7 yet?
Yeah. I could go to Canada now.
All right, so I'll do the Mexican song now, okay? From the Mexican perspective.
Good night.
Wait! Suela! Come here! I want to show you something I got at the Five and Dime. My name is Suela, and I'm a chola. I live in Los Angeles. Yeah, I kind of speak Spanish, kind of not very good. I stand on the corner and yell at my friend Maria! Come here! Like that. Maria, though, get over here.
Oh,
Look, can you believe this? Can you believe this thing I see over here?
See? He does do other accents. When the Scots come here, sometimes he goes into a Scottish accent too.
I really think I do.
Transracial.
I think I do Mexican male a little bit better. The Mexican
You
male.
do the Abuelita pretty good.
I do have Abuelita pretty good.
Yeah.
But there's a certain Mexican male. Where's the hat that this hat?
I don't know, babe. I haven't seen it. I was wondering the same thing.
It's around somewhere.
In the house?
I might have left it in your mom's face.
That's an appropriate place to put it.
The kind of Mexican takes their hat and holds it like this. Oh, sí, señor. I will be glad to help you with your cleaning. Oh, yeah, I know about limpia. Oh, sí, I'm very good at it. Oh,
Mhm.
yes, sí. No problem, señor. I will be happy to get your beyond right
And
lane.
this is me talking right back to them.
Oh,
That is great.
see.
I'm so glad. Thank you, because I don't want to be doing this work, so you're doing it, and I'm very grateful for you. I think you should learn a little bit more English.
Oh, senor, I'm so happy to see you. I would like to, help you plant some yucca plants in your yard.
Hmm.
Sing us an Irish song. Okay.
You prick.
What's an Irish song that I know? I don't know any Irish songs, I don't think. Oh, you want me to make up an Irish song? All right, here we go. What are like Irish sounding chords?
You know, like maybe like I don't know how to do it Irish, I guess.
Oh, the pearly hills of Ireland and the bogs that run below. There's whiskey in my heart. Ireland is so
fighty. It's so fighty.
I can't really do Ireland. I always turn
I
into
don't know how to
pirate.
do Irish either.
Irish always turns me into pirate. Okay, so, arr. I'm an Irish person now.
And I could just go
Well,
back to
no,
British.
you're a pirate, Eric. You're not Irish.
Ireland.
You know.
Yeah, feisty. They call the fighting Irish for a reason. They get drunk and they fight a lot. It's a fact. My sister's been there.
My German
seen it.
accent's pretty good. You know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Can we have a German, please?
Yeah, sure. I come from a country far across the sea where all of the people are all right. That's why all the people are always calling me the International Delight. That's right, I'm the International Delight. I'm international. I'm from all over the world. I've been to Germany. I've been to Berlin, Bonn, Stuttgart. I've lived in Austria. I've lived in Bavaria. I've been all over the world. And I am the International Delight. I have a satchel some of the time. And my friend is Puckertop Lemon Squeeze. That's me. I'm Puckertop Lemon Squeeze. Where's it try something pop?
Hi, Piano.
I'm having a very hard time shedding my inner American. I think my
That is
German
fine
accent's pretty
music.
good. It sounds like a German speaking English, I think.
Yes.
Ja, if you want to go get down to the Venus and get a bratwurst with me, you could come if you'd like. Afterwards we could go see Kraftwerk in Stuttgart. I have tickets.
It's so
Would you like
great.
to go? Me and all my
Poor
beautiful-
Rachel's eyes are gonna pop out. I love it. I love when he talks German.
Me and all my beautiful friends will be raving. Semantic
The
satiation.
Italians like the Germans too.
Jeff Shaw, are you aware of what the phenomenon refers to? Semantic satiation. It actually means something specific. It's not. These aren't terms that I made up. They're actual things.
Yeah, they are.
Listen, you can't have that too much freedom. Das ist verboten. Okay, listen, der Kommissar. Da, di, dum, bum, ba, cha-cha. Der Kommissar, pa. I love Der Kommissar so much. Falco really didn't accomplish much else besides Der Kommissar, but Der Kommissar
Yeah, but that was such a song.
It's, light of God from heaven.
I know the English version first, but I really love the German. Like that he was no, I want this track to be in German. I'm making this song for Germans.
You know where I got my German accent from, actually, is from my parents, who would imitate Germans around the table. They speak French sometimes to each other, and they imitate Germans.
That's funny, really.
Sometimes in German, they sort of learn expressions like "der Polizei," "das ist verboten," and stuff like that. Because when we'd be driving, if my mom would see a cop, she'd say "der Polizei."
Der Polizei. I like German. I like the language too. I think it's one of the languages that I would actually be able to pick up, probably because it's Germanic.
I'm just doing my job, nothing personal. Orders are orders.
Your dad is very much like that.
Did my parents work through World War II? They are part of what's known as the silent generation, which is to say they were alive during World War II but too young to fight in it. So my dad was also basically missed any action in Korea, even though he was the right age for Korea because he was in the Navy at the tail end of Korea, but he didn't see any actual fighting action or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So he managed to avoid any actual war fighting. However, his sister's husband, Lonnie, he was a PT boat captain in Vietnam for several tours, and has a lot of very crazy, dramatic stories from that
I
experience.
can only imagine. Like, any movie that I've watched about Vietnam, I get very emotional over. That, for some reason, like, triggers
It was
me.
a terrible war. So is my dad in any fraternal groups? No, he does keep up with his former Army buddies. He identifies, he has a hat that has his Navy ship on it, but he seems to identify more with his time in the Army and to dislike kind of his time in the Navy. And the reason is when he was in the Army, he was stationed in Europe and playing in the Army band. And so the Army, a traveling entertainment band. It's like back in 1960, whatever, the U.S. military still had a presence in Europe, and that presence in Europe included a sort of promotional band that went around to build goodwill in the French communities. The Army band would go and play at the various French communities, and the French people would come out and dance and stuff. So that was one of his jobs in Europe, was playing the French horn.
It's so your dad's generation is so interesting, and just like your parents, it's so interesting because I feel like they missed a lot of like 1960 because they were in Europe. Like, I think so much happened in 1960 in the United States that they
in the 60s they spent in Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, my dad has got to be, on some level, he is the most interesting man in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That character for the dyslexic commercials, that's kind of my dad. Like, if you go back in his, if you show his life, well, here's the scene where he was at Le Mans in 1966, the very year they made that movie recently about, when he was on the Ford team, holding up a sign.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
here's where it says in the book that David Strauss accompanied this,
Mm-hmm.
the soon-to-be widow of this one person who crashed in that thing. And, oh shit, Dad really was there. Dad was really part of that.
That is so cool.
That's, he also raced Mini Coopers on the little roads of Europe with his navigator, Dale, who is my godfather. And in fact, the first when he met my mom, his first pickup line was, "You want to come outside and look at the engine in my car?"
That's so cute.
Can you imagine? My dad had no game at all, obviously. You have to have zero game to think that that's going to fly.
And your mom.
Hey, girl, you want to come look at my engine?
And your mom is so great because she actually went through with it.
Code for nothing. Code for look at the engine of my car.
Yeah.
Yes, she did.
Mm-hmm.
She went out and looked at the engine in his car. No code, no innuendo there. He wanted to show. He said, "What can I do to impress this girl?" Well, what do I have that's impressive? Well, I've got my engine and my Mini Cooper running well. All I'll show her that. It's textbook TE kind of craziness.
Mhm.
TENI polar kind of craziness.
What are you talking about?
He's saying that my dad really meant like,
Oh.
go look at my engine down there. No, I know my dad. You know, it's like, in fact, after I broke up with Kimberly and I was dating, he expressed to me one day, I never understood women. Like, I don't know how you do this, Eric. I don't, because I was telling him like, okay, I'm gonna go out with this date I met, go on a date with this girl I met on the internet.
Valerie Elwood, I want to mention my mom has what they would call a typically Greek foot. She has the second one that's longer, but she's Irish, and there's actually an Irish toe foot that has the longer toe also. So that's where it could also come from. I learned that because I was into like feet stuff, like looking up like the meaning behind the foot shapes and stuff. I have a Roman shaped foot, and Eric has a Egyptian. Yes, the Celtic foot. Yes.
But the thing is, what's interesting is one thing that my dad told me at some point a long time ago. I haven't heard him reference it ever since. Really, is that he was engaged before he met my mom, but broke it off before he got with my mom. Like, he was engaged to this hot girl, and it sounds like at some point during the engagement, he realized that she was not reliable enough or something, and so he broke it off with her and didn't end up marrying her. And then later on, met my mom and married her, and had told me once during my adolescence that you should try not to get with attractive women because it was a family thing. There was this lady Susan. Susan was a woman my mom's age who was in the family, like a cousin or something, who was known as the family beauty. And my mom wasn't considered very attractive in the family because she's got my nose, which is kind of a big, it's the Schneider nose. Anyway,
She has such a pretty smile, though.
Regardless, she wasn't considered attractive, and didn't consider herself attractive. And the family was all about how beautiful Susan was. And so the point was we went to some family occasion and Susan was there, and my dad was saying how Susan had been married 4 times and blah 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 blah. And then that was probably when he told me this whole story about having been, and how the marriage, the basic message is avoid attractive women.
You did a good job of that, no?
I did do a good job of that.
Melinda was attractive.
You're the first.
Delilah's very attractive. I think she's the best parts of all you guys,
Delilah came out good.
Gorgeous.
Madonna Horror Complex? I don't know what that is. Never heard of it before.
So Madonna Horror Complex is when typically a male will have a woman who's the wife at home and who he has kids with, and then but he doesn't enjoy primal sex with her. He just has sex with her for procreation, and then on the side he has someone who he has intercourse with for fun.
My dad didn't ever have anybody on the side. I can guarantee you he was faithful his entire marriage.
Yeah.
There's no way my dad had anybody on the side. Just zero chance of it, because he was too regimented in his schedules and stuff, and he's a person of character basically.
Yeah.
He just fundamentally is. Regardless, I will say he dislikes F. Okay, he dislikes feelings, introverted or extroverted feelings, basically. So my mom would go and say, "David, come here," and he's like, "Okay, dear, okay, That's enough.
Aww.
That's enough touching. Which is pretty fucking awful, really, if you think about it. Like, he was always like, he'd say things like, she'd come and kiss him, and he'd go, okay, mwah, yuck. Like,
Thank God you don't do that to me. I would be so sad because I love kissing you on the cheek and giving you hugs.
like, no girl stuff allowed was basically his attitude.
Well, that was my mom's.
And when I think about it,
No F at all. It's true.
He's not a big fan of F.
Mm-hmm.
To this day.
I mean,
not a fan of F.
No.
FE doesn't like it. FI doesn't
care.
like it. FI is more effective than FE. I told him I love him last night. He came out to tell me he worked out a solution to this problem of somebody walking through the house and leaving the front door open. Which was, this is his solution, by the way. I'll lock the Tiny Man 6'6". That may be true, and I don't mean to condemn or censor you in any way, shape, or form. But you gotta remove that comment.
You have to.
You gotta remove that comment.
That's gonna get flagged.
It's too crazy.
No censorship sort of stuff.
I don't mean to censor you or say that it's bad for you to say that or bad for you to have that fantasy. I'm just saying it's too risky for me to have that in text right there. It feels risky to me.
It's risky.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. We're not judging.
We all have, yeah. Well, now that Eric is with me, like, well, we just got really lucky. I mean, we really did. Like, for me, I think, like, just like, it's like everything in the world that has ever like challenged me has brought me to this point in my life. And I'm writing a new book. It's like so great.
And I feel as though, like I've said before, Rachel allowed me for the first time to be proved right about relationships. Every time in the past, I've always tried to tell the same story. Every relationship, I try to tell the same story. Okay, listen, obviously the success or failure of our relationship depends on the story we're telling. So here's this positive story I'm telling about our relationship. And I'm continually getting pushback from the other parties. Like, you don't define our reality because, of course, there's too much FI or too little NI in the mix to deal with the world on that metaphysical of a level. And I get that, but I didn't understand it at the time. Now I'm finally with another metaphysician, and we're both totally on the same page. What matters most is which stories we're telling. We're telling the same stories. And oh my God, you mean you want to tell the right story too? Wow. Not only do you not want to tell the wrong story, not only are you not resisting the correct story, you actually are on the same page and want to tell the same correct story as I do.
Yeah, genuinely. I can't have anything disingenuous anyway. It doesn't work for me. So I want to be totally honest here. When I first came to California, there was something that I had to grapple with when it came to like lies in a relationship. And something happened similar to me in a relationship of my past that happened when I was with Eric. And I really made myself feel guilty because I like
spell it all out if you want, Rachel. Go ahead.
Okay, so when I was with Chris, who I dated like a year before Eric, pretty much. I don't know when I dated him, but like we were together for 3 months, and it was like pretty serious, like from the beginning. And one day he came to me and he said that he lied. He's like, look, I have something to tell you, and I'm lying to you about something. Been keeping something from you. And I was like, what? And he was like, fuck, I even feel like wrong talking about it here. It's like, it's not my business.
It is your business. It's your story. It happened to you.
So he lied about having HPV or whatever, or yeah, like I think HPV, but at first I was like, oh, like no big deal. But then the more I thought about it, the more and more I got angry. More and more I was like, holy fuck. Like, I've been asking you from the beginning. I was like, when we like first got together, I straight up was like, have you been tested? Like, blah, blah, like I was really strict with that. And he like lied. And then there were other things that just didn't add up. And so like for a little while, when I went back to New York, I was a little like, I was hazy from the shit that happened in the hospital and everything.
Yeah, but go ahead and tell them how the correlate with us. Too.
Oh, so when I was here in California, I caught Eric saying something that didn't make sense, or it sounded like he was omitting something. So I questioned him and he told me. And at first I was like, oh, great, here we go again. It's just like every other one, blah, blah, blah. Like, but
it was exactly the same thing. And then
Mhm.
I'm an HPV carrier. And when initially asked if I had any STDs, I said no.
I didn't even ask.
We did talk about it. I explicitly said no. The thing is, here's the weird thing about it. When I said no, I honestly didn't think I was lying when I said no. Because at some point previous in my life, I had gone through this issue of HPV and determined that at this point in time, everybody either has it or has the vaccine for it. And so I'm not really at any risk for transmitting it. And so I don't need to reveal it. I decided this at some point long ago. Now, I had never revisited the issue. If I had revisited it in more recent years, I think I would have realized that that's not an acceptable justification for anything. But so when Rachel asked me if I had any STDs, I said no, because I didn't really consider HPV an STD because I didn't think I was at any risk of transmitting it to anybody. But when there was a certain point where I realized, oh shit, I did lie about that.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I realized it
really did hit him.
As soon as I realized it, she had read it on me,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to come clean about it. Well, you know what, Katie? It's important because it's talking about something significant, which is the fact that the same thing happened in two relationships, but meant something different in each one of those relationships.
It's totally like I was ridden with guilt because I was like, am I a hypocrite for dumping someone for lying to me over
The same
the
exact thing.
same exact thing that Eric lied to me about? But then I realized I did a deep look and an analyzation. And I came to the conclusion that I just didn't, there were things that didn't line up throughout the whole relationship. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back. So it was like, he said like that was the worst lie about him. Well, like, how much lying have you been doing? It just like, it was like my NI world crashing down on me. Like everything, like I couldn't believe a thing that he said anymore. Like I was just like, why did you lie to me? And I was like crying. I actually cried. It was so gross. I like cried. I was like, why did you lie to me? And he just like stood there like this. And I was just like, you're a fucking asshole. Like, so, like, this relationship is much different than that. And I came in, with wounds. And over time, things have gotten so much better. And I've been healthier too. Eric helped me.
I think you came in with a healthy tendency to look for reasons not to trust people because you had learned that was a smart way to approach things.
Yeah.
Of course, with me, I actually am trustworthy. And
yeah, you are. You've proved to be. Well,
the thing is, I mean, of course, FI-polar people are probably people who also claim to be very honest. I do claim to be very honest and very transparent. And I claim
he is.
in part that it's because I don't lie well.
He doesn't. He's a terrible poker player.
Yeah.
I would say INFJs are better at lying than ENTPs.
INFJs, I suspect, are the best poker players. But the thing is, that doesn't mean I don't occasionally do it. And Rachel's caught me on a couple of occasions. She got me one time lying to my dad. And in that instance, it's like there's this weird sort of exemption I'd given myself on occasions when dealing with my dad about certain things I knew he wasn't going to react well to on the grounds that NI doesn't work, basically, without really knowing that I had done that, though. But the thing is, Rachel made me aware that I was doing that, and I stopped doing it. So I can't get away with any even slight dishonesty or deceit with Rachel. She'll pick up on it right away and nail me on it. And the thing is, that's why one of the reasons why this is a good relationship is because I'm habituated to that being the case anyway in life, that I can't get away with lying. So.
Yeah, you are habituated. And I feel lucky for that. It's a good quality. I always said it was good quality to be a bad liar. I really did. And I had my own issues with lying as a child. I used to be very ashamed of myself, of the money that my parents had. I felt very ashamed. I felt like I didn't have enough, so I lied a lot as a kid. And keeping up with the lies made me feel like really terrible. And when I moved away the first time from home, from New York, and I moved to North Carolina to be with someone else, I learned the importance of being honest, completely honest, even if you don't want to hear it. And I hope you're lying. I hope you're lying.
Rachel, we haven't really eaten anything today. I mean, I don't know what you ate while I was sleeping. We'll split this beer.
What did I do?
So that's fine.
I slept peacefully. I was like napping and watching that show.
So we do need to eat something. We should eat those enchiladas. I should have got them. I just didn't think about it until I was all the way back in here. I'll go back and get them in a second. I'm ready to end this stream. Thank you all for being here. And don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.
Yeah.